This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP Media.
Catholic League matchup in New Jersey. We have the Don Bosco Ironmen and the St. Peter's Prep Marauders facing off in a huge matchup, maybe game of the year, as everything's on the line fighting for the #1 seed in this year's state playoffs. Today's game is brought to you by Alliance Orthopedics. This season, the Super Football Conference trusts Alliance Orthopedics, the official orthopedic and recovery partner, keeping athletes healthy, strong, and game ready. Alliance Orthopedics, better every day. My name's Pat Godfrey. I'm here with Oz Richardson as well as Andrew Bonita. Great to be here tonight, guys.
This is a great matchup. We have two top 3 teams in the state, between an 8-0 Don Bosco team who's had their best start since 2014 and a St. Peter's Marauders team that's had one of their best starts since 2019. These two teams are hungry, and I'm very looking forward to see what these two teams show tonight.
And Andrew, tonight's sure to look a lot different than last year's matchup when Bosco went to Jersey City, took on St. Peter's, and delivered a bit of a whooping, 42-7. You can bet that the Marauders are going to remember that one out here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a whole, turn of the season from last year. They went 4-6, lost to many teams in their league. Now they're 7-1 with their only loss to DePaul, but otherwise they've been playing great football. They've beaten Joe's, they've killed, and he's proven to be one of the top players in New Jersey. He has 34 tackles, 5 sacks, 2 picks on the year, and he does well on special teams too. He returned a punt return for a touchdown this year.
Yeah, St. Peter's Prep, a team that prides themselves on running the ball and also getting it out to the edge. So we expect to see Allen flying all over the field tonight. He's a dynamic backer, a guy who can go sideline to sideline, and Don Bosco's really need to have him play one of his best nights the entire season and hope to keep this undefeated season going and march in the playoffs as that #1 seed. Now on the flip side, for the St. Peter's Marauders, a ton of really talented guys as well. Who are you keeping an eye on, Oz?
If I have to look at somebody, I have to look at the captain of the offense, the quarterback, Tyler Bell, the UMass commit. This kid has had a great season, arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the state of New Jersey. He has 1,383 yards, 23 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. This team has been very careful with the ball throughout the season, and their only loss against DePaul.
For the Don Bosco Ironmen, forgive me, which brings me actually to our presenting sponsor of tonight's Keys to the Game, Kearney Bank. Whatever your goals, Kearney Bank helps you and your business achieve them with personalized solutions and friendly support. Visit kearneybank.com to get started making your dreams a reality. Member of the FDI, the St. Peter's Marauders team.
Absolutely. I think, like Oz said, they need to win the turnover battle themselves. That's how they've won these big games against Joe's and Bergen. They've gotten turnovers and kept the football clean on their offensive side. I think they also need to limit the passing offense of Tyler Bell. He's a very talented quarterback, and he could tear you apart very quickly, so I feel like they need to make sure to limit him as well as the star receivers. And I think they need to establish the run game. It is very windy here. I don't think they want to try to throw the ball at all. I don't even know if Peters, even though they're great at throwing the ball, wants to risk, a ball, getting misconstrued because of the wind. So I think a well-developed run game with Dante DeLuca and Kasai Thomas is what Bosco needs for this game.
Yeah, that 3-headed monster has really been effective all year. That's very rare at the high school level to find 3 running backs who can all contribute, make sure that each guy's going to be fresh when he gets his reps, and each guy take advantage of the opportunity on those touches.
Yes, definitely, I agree. Like I said this last week, but this team, the run game kind of reminds me of the Detroit Lions. They have a very good job using different running backs in different types of formations, and this is what makes them so hard to stop.
Absolutely. Going to be really important. And St. Peter's a team that's had a tough time up the middle stopping things. You know, they're a very talented team around the edges, but if there's one weakness in this Marauders attack, it's their ability to stop the run, B-gap to B-gap. And conversely, on the offensive side of the ball, they like to spread weather from extreme heat to severe storms. Perry Weather's looking out for you. Visit perryweather.com for more information. Tonight, it's cold, as we mentioned. Walking into the stadium, it was about 45 degrees, and it said the feels like was around 35. And that wind, I'm telling you, is whipping us out here. That's one unique thing about coming to Grand Hotel Stadium. You got your broadcast crew right here live from the end zone. So we're out there with the guys,
Yes,
and it's going to be a chilly one, but a really fun one out here tonight.
Yes, definitely. It's going to be a very good game. This St. Peter's team, they have something to prove. You're facing the #1 team in the state in a road game. And Bosco, they feel like they're not done yet. The playoffs coming up next week. They'll most likely have a bye. But they still feel like tonight, senior night, they have a lot of proof.
Without a doubt, you know, and I think that's been impressive, the way that Don Bosco has been able to avoid getting a big head. A lot of teams, once you beat a Bergen Catholic, a team that you've had a tough time overcoming in years past, you jump into that top 25 in most national polls. That's kind of when you're ripe for an upset. It hasn't happened thus far. They've kept their foot on the gas over the most recent couple games. But that said, there's a new challenge out here tonight for senior night, and it's going to be important not to let their emotions get the best of them in a time that can be very emotional, your last time playing out here at Grand Hotel Stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last week they did mostly well, but they did turn the ball over. I don't think they want to, turn the ball over and lose that turnover battle. So I think there is maybe a trap game or an upset looming in the air. But I think if they keep their foot, pedal to the metal, just, out-tough them and, use their physicality, I think they're going to come out with the win.
Yeah, and that's, as you see the leaves blowing behind us right now, it's crazy, this wind out here. But really, one of the hallmarks of the Super Football Conference is the fact that anybody can win on any given Friday, any given Saturday. Look at last week. A lot of people thought that DePaul was going to walk easily into Morristown, and beat Del Barton, and they wound up getting their butts kicked. Same thing with Bergen Catholic. I think a lot of people were surprised to see St. Joe's go in there on the road and win in overtime. So it just kind of goes to show you really have to play your best football on a week-in, week-out basis.
Yeah, definitely. This is the thing about these rivalry games. You never know what could happen. One bad game, and it could really bring you down in the rankings. So this is why every game is meant to be played hard and played the right way.
And if I said it once, I'll say it a million times out here tonight. The winner of our matchup between the Ironmen and the Marauders is going to march into the state playoffs with the #1 seed. And that could be huge as we look at this stretch coming down into November.
Yeah, and if one of these teams loses this game, it's uncertain what seed they will get, because if Joe's, beats the ball and, whatever happens, that may, move the tide in the, the playoff seeding. Whoever wins will definitely get the 1, but whoever gets the 2, the 3, and the 4, that's the question for next week.
Yeah, it's huge. Really, the implications, we can't overstate them. They're really tremendous out here tonight. One thing that we know for sure, it's going to be a lot of fun. And one thing that really blew me away, I'll be fully transparent, I'm a New York guy, so I'm used to in a big matchup maybe finding 3 or 4 bona fide Division I football players out on the field. But that's not the case here tonight. Going through and doing my prep work, you got 15 to 20 guys holding Power 4 offers. You probably got 30 guys out here tonight that are going to play some level of Division I football on scholarship. So it's hard to match the talent out here when you're talking about Don Bosco and St. Peter's Prep.
Yeah, absolutely. This is why the Super Football Conference, specifically this division, was ranked as one of the hardest football conferences in the country because of the amount of talent and great competition that is within that division. All of these teams, that are good in this division have these star players on both sides of the ball with, Power 4 offers and, are going to play Division I at some level. It's great to see.
Yeah, it's really mind-blowing. Just by my count, we're looking at over 15 guys who are ranked on 247.com. That's a rare thing to see. And in tonight's game, actually, the left tackle for St. Peter's, Olubabola, is a 4-star recruit. He's got pretty much everybody that's offered him. I'm talking Auburn, Florida State, the University of Florida, Texas A&M. He's the #2 ranked guy in the class of 2027 in the state of New Jersey. Guess who's #3? Makai Allen. So for younger guys who aren't even seniors yet that are attracting the likes of the biggest schools in the country to come up here to New Jersey to recruit.
Yeah, definitely. This is what New Jersey ball is all about. This is why people come to prep schools like Don Bosco, Library, and Catholic. They come here for recognition. And for a lot of guys, it's paying off. So it's incredible to see how young guys with such talent can go out and play in the game.
Without a doubt. You know, I play football down at Clemson, and there's a lot of people who thought that, hey, you're from the Northeast, do they really play legitimate football in that part of the country? Well, I'm sure you guys would be happy to remind them as Bosco guys yourselves, 2009 and 2011, this program won the Max Preps National Championship. And this year, you look around, they've got an opportunity to finish in the top 20 in national rankings, but you can't get there unless you take care of business here on senior night against probably one of the toughest teams they're going to play this entire season.
Yeah, it could really, see or foreshadow what will happen in the playoffs. If they could prove themselves here with a big win, it could really, be a huge confidence boost and really propel them through the playoffs. So this is a big game for sure.
Without a doubt, and as much as
the blessings that you give to us each and every day. In a special way this evening, we thank you for these young people, for the ways in which you have blessed them, and through them continue to bless us. We ask that as they compete and engage in spirited competition, that they do so with joy to the best of their abilities. Protect them, keep them safe from all harm, moral or physical. We ask you to bless their coaches. May they guide them and help them to be the young men that you have called them to be. Bless this evening's officials. We ask you to help them to discharge their responsibilities with wisdom and care for the safety and well-being of our young men. And bless all those in attendance, that this evening might be one of grace and joy as we celebrate these young people and all they have accomplished. We ask all this through Christ our Lord. Mary, help of Christians, pray for us. St. Ignatius of Loyola, St. John Bosco, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by our senior, Ryan Pelosi. The flag is located to the right of the scoreboard.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, save us that star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the
And boy, are we excited as we get ready for the coin toss here at Granitel Stadium for one of the best matchups you're going to see in the entire state of New Jersey, perhaps the entire Northeast this year.
Number 5, Tyler Barksdale. Number 21, Jordan Rodriguez. And number 29,
See those captains walk out
Cruz.
for Don Bosco. Got to meet a lot of
and 7.
Yeah, definitely huge night for him. You have Aiden O'Neal, who's not a senior either next season, but you have Matt Acapinti, you have Dante Luke, guys that have been here for a very long time, playing their last time in Granite South Stadium.
And Acapinti, he's really going to have his hands full tonight. You know, looking at this offensive attack for St. Peter's, you've got a great running back in Abdul Toure, a guy who's a 3-star recruit, holds offers from the likes of BC, Pitt, and Syracuse. But Acapinti himself, a Big 12 commit, going to play at UCF next year, really going to have to step up big time against St. Peter's here early.
Absolutely. This front 7 with Acapinti on the line with O'Neal and Eakins, and then the other, linebackers with Mekhi Allen and Gino Greco, they've been doing good so far, but they haven't faced too many offensive powerhouses like St. Peter's, so I think this will be a real test for them right before the playoffs.
And I know we mentioned the 3-headed monster at running back on the Don Bosco side, but St. Peter's Prep, in their own right, has some really great talent at running back. Not only Abdul Toure, but also their team captain, Tyler Barksdale, who's out there right now, number 5. He's a physical, between the tackles kind of running back. He's a more compact guy at 5'6" and 180 pounds, but that senior is a guy who can spell Toure, make sure that they're both fresh all day long, because as you guys mentioned, not easy running up against the likes of this linebacking core and that stout defensive line that Bosco brings to the table.
Yes, absolutely. It's very important having these 2 running backs. Barksdale's had a pretty impressive season, 436 rushing yards with 6 touchdowns. So it's very important to have that 2-3-headed monster to really rely on the offense and split up the offensive pieces to keep the defense off balance.
It's going to be interesting to see who gets the better of that matchup between the Bosco D and the St. Peter's Prep offense. St. Peter's been electric all year long, as looks like Bosco is going to kick off to start this game. Kicking off tonight, John Dever, the senior. And we're off from Ramsey, New Jersey. Back to return. And this is going to be some tough field position for St. Peter's Prep on that initial kick return from Jordan Rodriguez, Boston College commit.
Yeah, that is a great kick from Johnny Dever. Johnny Dever, also a Yale commit for lacrosse, has a heck of a leg. A game-winning field goal against St. Peter's from 45. This kid has a great leg, and you'll see a lot of touchbacks tonight on kickoffs.
Yeah, that was a good close by the kickoff team as well. They really squeezed the amount of space the returner had on the field, and he really couldn't go anywhere, so that was a great cover.
One thing to keep an eye on tonight, Obama Toure, the typical starting left guard for St. Peter's, is out due to an injury. Christian Vasquez, the sophomore, number 65, making his first start. Man in motion for St. Peter's Prep. Split back, got Toure. Toure with the run. And up the middle. Nice positive game for St. Peter's Prep to start that off.
That is a great play, and that tackle was made by Mekhi Allen, the 4-star. Great job reading the guy, making a tackle, and preventing a big gain on that play.
Got to be concerns for St. Peter's Prep about your ability to move people. Got the sophomore number 65 right there, Vasquez, in the middle of your screen. They can be relying on the likes of Stephen Rosili, the one senior on this offensive line, right there at the center position to try and clear open some holes for St. Peter's Prep. Looking at second down and about 6. Opening pass right there. That's going to go out to Hunter Watson, the Temple commit. And it looks like going to be just short of a first down right there. So 3rd and short on this opening drive for St. Peter's Prep. Wonder what they're going to dial up here. Dean Tabella in his 7th year, head coach of St. Peter's. Not easy run through the teeth of this defense. Looking at a 3rd and 1. Tyler Bell looks over to the sideline. After a quick hard count, that one's not going to catch Don Bosco off guard.
That one receiver on the edge. It allowed Toure to get out along the sideline and pick up enough yards for the first down and keep the chains moving for the offense.
Quickly here, if we get a moment, we'd love to introduce our starters for the game, presented by the Lucan Center. We got Olubola, Vasquez, Rosili, Devlin, and Gonzalez on the offensive line. Bella, quarterback. Toure at running back. I'll get to your tight ends and receivers in just one moment. Toure bounces this one outside and finds an opening. It's going to be down the sideline, pushed out, ultimately right there by Jack Hinspeter. But that's a great run. Things moving smoothly early for the St. Peter's offense.
That is a great play by the St. Peter's offense. It is very coaching, like we said in the pregame. It's going to be very hard to run right down the middle on this Don Bosco prep defense. So great job getting that outside gap and getting it for positive yardage.
Other starters at receiver, you got Hunter Watson as well as Hudson Pritchard, pair of seniors for St. Peter's prep. Brought to you by the Lucan Center for Psychotherapy, honored to partner with the Super Football Conference. Shotgun formation. It's a quick hitter out to the edge. And that looks like it's going to be the junior Trey Williams getting going. Williams, a guy who was out early on this season, missed the first 4 games with a hip flexor strain. But since he's been back, he's been really productive, had a touchdown in his first game back against Seton Hall Prep, and just one of a bevy of options at St. Manatel Stadium.
Yeah, that is a great play there by Tyler Bell. Great call by the offense. Looks like an RPO pass. He makes the read and has Amari Jones one-on-one from Maury McNeil. Great throw, great accuracy, and now first down and already very close to being in the red zone.
Bosco defense not used to being on their heels, been so stout all year long. We get tested. Toure set to the right, shotgun. And it's going to be Toure up the middle. And once again, nothing going for this St. Peter's prep offense as they try and run the ball B-gap to B-gap. That hasn't been a strong point for them all year long. And into the teeth, this Bosco defense got some trouble looking at third down and decently long.
Yes, great job of the Don Bosco prep defense, creating short gains, which sets up long third downs. Bosco has a very good job taking advantage of these third downs. And that was a very great tackle by Gino Greco and Makai Allen, who were in there for the nice tackle.
Once again, that's Williams in motion. Looks like we've got twins to the left in this formation. One thing to keep an eye on is St. Peter's loves a screen game. Bell drops back, nothing going, and he fumbles. Looks like this is going Bosco's way, and an early turnover could change the complexion here early.
Yeah, it looks like Makai Allen had it. And let's see the call that the refs made.
From my eye, looked like it was an Ironman jumping on that one first, and boy, would that really take some air out of the balloon.
And Don Bosco has the ball. That is a huge stop by the Don Bosco defense. One of the keys for both of the teams was the turnover battle. Don Bosco prep developed the dangerous Don Bosco prep offense.
Yeah, Tyler Bell sets up, but nothing was going there. Tries to step up in the pocket and just gets collapsed in on by a host of different guys. Looks like it was some combination of the Eakins brothers and Aiden O'Neill that ultimately got there for the strip sack. And that
Not defenders got some good yard.
Yeah, that is a great job of Don Bosco prep offense. They have big defensive linemen, Maloof and Gray, so creating plays on the outside, that's a very smart move.
It's to Thomas on third down, and he's gonna find a hole. Kasai Thomas right there, able to bust things open, and that's gonna get them into St. Peter's prep territory for the first time tonight.
That is a great play by Kasai Thomas. It's like a misdirection going inside and back out. Kasai Thomas is a very great player. Before his injuries, averaging 60 yards, rushing yards per game. So looking forward to see what he can do tonight.
Yeah, Thomas, only a sophomore out here, and looks like this one might be coming back as our officiating crew has a flag down in the play. Looks like this went against Don Bosco, so setting up another third down situation here for the Ironmen, negating the Thomas run. Gives me an opportunity to quickly bring up the starters on defense for St. Peter's Prep. You got Gray, Maloof, and Valdivia. Line, Sereno, Cruz, Pratt at the linebackers positions, and then Rodriguez, Wooten, Monroe, Anderson Jr., and Wise filling out that secondary. Rusher off the edge. Pratt not able to get there. And there for Isaiah Alvarez. We saw him right on first down and keeping things going through the air for the Ironmen.
Great play. play by Carson Shane. He saw pressure, rolled out to his right, saw Isaiah Alvarez coming from an in route from across the field, just zipped it to him. Isaiah caught it, made some nice plays down the sideline, got a first down. That is just a great play between the two.
Alvarez, one of our players to watch going into tonight, already making an impact. We got trips left. The motion man is Kai Murphy. Shane's gonna roll out to his left. Throw this one downfield, and once again it's Alvarez! Are you kidding me, Isaiah Alvarez? An opening drive with his third catch, and this one, the biggest of them all, it's gonna set a first and goal here early for Don Bosco.
Yeah, this kid is very special. It looked like they had a tight end block, then released from the short, but there's some miscommunication with the offense. A nice corner route by Isaiah Alvarez. This kid is special. When his older brother got injured, he had to step up, and he has done a very great job stepping up. This team has been very efficient on second, third down. So you would love to see how St. Peter's Prep can stop this offense.
And all of a sudden, St. Peter's Prep on their heels. Following that Bell fumble on their opening possession, all of a sudden things have shifted, and quickly as you see Kasai talking to the outside, fighting a few Peters defenders. Won't go down right there. How bad do you want it, Kasai Thomas? And that's going to set up second and goal from the 1.
Yeah, great play by Kasai Thomas. Juked out a couple defenders, bounced off some more, and then when he was, wrapped up, instead of just, stopping, he kept driving his legs. The line got behind him and pushed him extra yards. That is just some gritty, smash mouth football right there. That's how Don Bosco plays and wins, and it shows the true heart of Kasai Thomas and this offense.
Yeah, Bosco came into this game feeling they were the more physical team. It set up second goal, but that one's going nowhere right there. It's the Boston College commit Jordan Rodriguez with the tackle for loss.
Yeah, that is a great play by Jordan Rodriguez. Look at the DB blitz. Great job coming through the A-gap and getting a nice tackle for loss, which sets up a third down.
Yeah, Rodriguez, really the leader of that secondary. Been a pretty dynamic guy for them. Somebody projects to play probably the safety position when he gets up to Chestnut Hill, but right now playing more of an outside backer spot. Sets up a huge third and goal here early. Shane back to Thomas, and a huge hole right there. That's an easy one for Kasai Thomas behind the left side of their offensive line. Noah Shippey shield off the edge, and that was easy going for 6.
That is a great job by Kasai Thomas. Welcome back. He has been dealing with injury for 3 weeks, and he is fully potential. And this first drive just shows you how dangerous this Don Bosco offense is when they spread pieces around, play action pass, run on the outside. They have so many different key factors that can be used. And tonight, if they keep it up, I just don't see how this Peters defense is stopping.
Yeah, it really makes you feel like maybe those big passing plays early in the drive made that St. Peter's D play a little bit more honest, spread them out. It makes it a little bit easier to get things going in the running game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they live with smash mouth football, but they can get dynamic as well. They have key players like Isaiah Alvarez, Kai Murphy. They could, really go to anybody on their offense, and it really helps open up their, smash mouth running game, as well, as you saw there.
And Devere kick is up and good, so that's going to bring our score to 7-0 here, going early in Ramsey, New Jersey. Don Bosco picking up where they've been all year long, the most dominant team in the state, and they're proving why. They come in with a Max Preps #1 ranking to this game. Bonus shifts onto this St. Peter's offense is able to get something going there on that first drive, but ultimately a costly turnover, which has hindered them at different points this year, ends it. Gives a lot of momentum to Don Bosco, and if you give Bosco opportunities, they're going to make the most of it.
Yeah, most certainly. In most rivalry games, especially a game between two top 3 matchups, turnovers will be very important. As Patrick said earlier, St. Peter's had a very good drive together, and the fumble by the Eakins brothers cost them a lot. So Don Bosco getting the costly turnovers, the costly takeaway, and using that as points. Great job at Don Bosco defense.
Now an opportunity for Tyler Bell to respond. He's a senior. He's seen his fair share of adversity. St. Peter's team that went 4-6 last year, but they've matured, got a lot of great senior leadership. Gonna need to rely on those guys, and they fall behind. Just that Devere kick, nice and deep back to Rodriguez. And this one's going to be a touchback. Don Bosco going to start with the ball, or St. Peter's going to start with the ball on the 20.
Yeah, let's see what they could do here. They had a good drive going, mixed with some run and pass. They've been very dynamic so far this season. They showed it on that drive, but that one play where it was a blitz by Bosco on third down forced a turnover. Let's see if they could be cleaner with the football and score points on this drive.
St. Peter's with 80 yards to go. They hope to tie up this ball game. So far, it looks like the first-time starter Vasquez has been able to hold up at left guard, but something to keep an eye on. Gonzalez, their right tackle, also fighting through some injuries. Looks like he's still out there doing everything he can. The first down play going no way.
Yeah, great play by the Don Bosco penalty defense. Looks like Vasquez is doing a pull block there to get maybe an outside run. Great job of the defensive line. Staying safe.
So that's going to set up a second and about 9 or so, second and 10 for the St. Peter's Prep offensive attack. This time it's Barksdale, split to the left from Tyler Bell. That's one of the features that St. Peter's can throw at you. Two very talented backs. This time it's a senior captain. Set up, offset his quarterback. A dangerous one right there as that ball was tipped at the line. Could have been intercepted.
Yeah, almost again another turnover forced by this Don Bosco D-line, getting with O'Neal with his, tall frame. He could put his hands up there, and it's very tough to get a ball through, as you saw there. So now Peters with the third and long in a similar situation, but now they're deep in their own territory.
Yeah, these are not the kind of situations that St. Peter's Prep wants to find themselves in, third and long, against a team with some pass rushers that can really pin their ears back and make you pay, whether it's the Eakins brothers, O'Neal, or even Acapinti or Allen coming off the edge.
Yeah, absolutely. This Bosco team does a very great job getting those tackles for loss and tackles at the line of scrimmage and resulting in those third and long plays. This defense is very amazing. Arguably one of the best defenses in the state. At the time, Bergen County, the team in the country, had only 9 points. This defense has done a very great job this season. It's one of the key highlights to their success this season.
Absolutely, and looks like Rich Hansen used another timeout right here. He knows how big this situation is, because if you give the ball back quickly to Bosco, you could find yourself in a hole here in just the first quarter. Huge third and 10 as Tyler Bell lines up in the shotgun formation with both of his running backs offset him, both Teray and Barksdale. Teray in motion. Bell drops back to pass, gets pressured early. He's trying to find time, and ultimately just going to throw this one out of bounds, but there is a flag down on the play.
Smart play by Bell. He, once again on third and long, dealt with some pressure from that front seven, but this time made a smart play, rolled out, threw it away. You don't want to give up sacks there, so it's okay to just throw it away, just take the punt, try to stop them and get a better drive next time.
Absolutely. See our coaching staff here for
Holding on the Marauders
Bosco.
declined by the
Based on the coach's reaction, looked like the penalty was on Peter. He was going to decline the penalty and get this third down.
So that's going to set up fourth down right here, and unsurprisingly, the punting unit's going to come out for St. Peter's Prep.
Cyrano back to punt.
Back to punt. And it's a high one, but not too far, though it gets a favorable St. Peter's bounce. And this one's going to keep going. It looks like Bosco's going to start with the ball on about their own 35-yard line.
Yeah, it's a pretty good punt.
Punt is down by Legislature.
Pretty good
Bosco
fielding
takes
position
over.
for
First and
Bosco.
10.
We'll start once again. Let's see what the offense is doing.
With that, an opportunity to thank our sponsor for tonight's broadcast. Brought to you by Alliance Orthopedics. This season, the Super Football Conference trusts Alliance Orthopedics, the official orthopedic and recovery partner, keeping athletes healthy, strong, and game ready. Alliance Orthopedics, better every day. Talking about better every day, this is a Don Bosco program that strives to get better every day. They've really continued to hit their stride. Went to Texas, had a tight one in Melissa for the first win by a Jersey team in the state of Texas, and been running ever since. New back in there right now.
Colin Brennan on the
That
play.
might have been Brennan.
Yeah, that was Colin Brennan, running back. They have 3 different running backs that could all be utilized different ways. Great job by Colin Brennan getting 4 or 5 yards on the play, positive yardage for a second.
And if you're hearing any extra noise on our broadcast, it is one of the windiest nights of the year thus far, blowing about 20 miles an hour. But that hasn't held back Carson Shane, who's been airing the ball out to perfection. This time he's out to Alvarez once again. I've said that once, I'll say it 1,000 times. Cuts up the middle. A thing of beauty right there. Ultimately tripped up by Ryan Wooten, but not before he was able to get a sizable gain on first down.
That looks like a quick screen to Isaiah Alvarez. He chose to split his wide receiver blocks, actually chose to cut across the field for some extra yards. That was a good dynamic play by Isaiah Alvarez.
Moving the sticks there, a fresh set of downs for Carson Shane and company. Brennan's split out to the right. Play action, and once again a steady diet of Isaiah Alvarez. Cuts once, twice, and he is just a slippery guy out there. The 6'2" frame, you don't see that too often.
Yeah, this kid is amazing. This kid is a yak machine. Yes, last week, against Paramus Catholic. A 5-yard drag just for a first down, and 60 yards for a touchdown. This kid does a very great job turning short receptions into long receptions. That gets your team a huge advantage on offense.
Carson Shane, just a sophomore himself, guy who won this job week 1. Got subbed into that game down in Texas and hasn't looked back. Been doing really well out here so far. He got the puller, the hand off to Brennan, and another healthy game behind a really good block from Onjayon.
Yeah, good play design by that O-line. They pushed some of the defenders back, allowed running to run through a pretty clean hole, get some extra yardage. So gain about 5 yards. That puts the offense in a pretty comfortable situation for second and medium.
See, once again, Shane lining up. This time beside Thomas, offset him. Play action once again. He's looking for his tight end over the middle. He's going to try and run with this one. Pump fakes once or twice, and he's going to move the sticks right there. Fresh set of downs, and Carson Shane making that one look easy.
That is a great play by Carson Shane. Jumping, getting positive yards, and going out of bounds just to be safe. Great job by Carson Shane getting positive yards on the play.
And Carson Shane, not necessarily your typical dual threat quarterback, but a guy who can get it done with his legs when you need him to.
Yeah, his frame seems more like a pocket quarterback, but he does have some legs. He could try to scramble out and make a play if he could.
There, handoff to Kasai Thomas behind a couple pulling guards, and he's going to get some space. Right there, Kasai met little resistance here tonight against this Marauders defense. And with that, we'll break. You're watching the Super Football Conference Network.
Welcome. Come on in.
Looking for mental health services for you or your loved ones? We have a signature way to pair you up with a therapist that meets your specific needs. At the Lucan Center, we are driven by science and led by compassion.
Thank you.
Experience the Lucan difference at any of our 7 locations in Northern Jersey. Log on to lucancenter.com or call us at 201-409-0393. At Lucan Center, get Lucan centered today.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back. It's the biggest deal in breakfast.
And we're back here. Godfrey Oz Richardson and Andrew Bonita here for a Super Football Conference matchup between Don Bosco and St. Peter's Prep. 7-0 Bosco early with them driving, looking to extend that lead. Carson Shane lines up, hands the ball off to Kasai Thomas, who makes a man miss, finds some space right there, and oh, if he weren't tripped up by Tyre Clark, he could have gone for 6 right there.
Yeah, good cut by Kasai Thomas. It looks like he almost got wrapped up in the backfield, but he made a cut inside, cut along the sideline, and again, if he wasn't tripped, he probably would have gotten much more yards, maybe even a touchdown there.
Yeah, St. Peter's having a tough time up front, it appears, with this Bosco offensive line. I mean, Bosco averages around 280 pounds. Got guys 280, 300 everywhere you look. And this time, looks like Brennan's going to get wrapped up in the backfield. That's big number 97, Will Maloof, for St. Peter's Prep.
That is a great tackle by Will Maloof. Will Maloof coming off the game with half a sack and half a tackle for loss. It's a very bright kid. Great job by him, reading the gap, getting the shed, and tackle for loss.
Yeah, Maloof at 6'5", 215. Long and fast. Committed to Dartmouth to play football next year. So Bosco lines up once again. Carson Shane back to pass, and oh, nowhere to go. Leroy Wilson, the junior linebacker, brings him down. And what a huge stop right there by St. Peter's.
Yeah, that is a huge stop of the St. Peter's defender. Leroy Wilson, great sack, and now that sets up a very costly drive. You could possibly go up 2 scores. And now instead you would be settling for a field goal.
Yeah, looking at 4th down. You got John Dever out there attempting about a 40-yarder on a windy night, kicking into the wind. This is not an easy situation for any kicker, even an experienced guy that you have in the senior John Dever.
Yeah, it's definitely tough making kicks out here in the wind. Maybe that's why here's the bus called the timeout. Maybe revise, maybe change the decision to go for the 4th down. John Dever, though, he's very talented.
Yeah, tough decision here. And with that, we'll cut away for a scene from our sponsors.
Welcome. Come on in.
Looking for mental health services for you or your loved ones? We have a signature way to pair you up with a therapist that meets your specific needs. At the Lucan Center, we are driven by science and led by compassion.
Thank you.
Experience the Lucan difference at any of our 7 locations in Northern Jersey. Log on to lucancenter.com or call us at 201-409-0393. At Lucan Center, get Lucan-centered today.
Back here live from Granatell Stadium in beautiful Ramsey, New Jersey. 4th down. And looks like that Don Bosco is going to go out there and attempt a 41-yard field goal or so for John Dever. Dever's kick is up, and it is good. As that ball landed right next to our broadcasting booth. That was as sure as you could ever hope for, given the windy conditions here tonight in Ramsey.
Yeah, that is a great kick by Johnny Dever, right down the middle, money. This kid has a leg. Has made field goals for 45. This kid has a leg, and this is why Coach Dan Sabella trusts him in these type of situations.
Yeah, got to feel good for the senior on senior night to drain that one. That's going to bring our score to 10-0. Don Bosco getting out here early ahead of St. Peter's. And really now the onus is on St. Peter's Prep to see if they can respond. Their offense, as we mentioned, has been the strong point of this team all year long. Had a nice opening drive that got thwarted by Tyler Mell's fumble. And now all of a sudden they find themselves in a two-score hole, really needing to claw back into this one before things get out of hand.
Yeah, accurate pass. This is a team that averages 37.2 points per game. This team really relies on the offense, and to be down 2 scores and the other team getting the ball to start the second half, it's a very huge blow. You're going to need a touchdown and a very costly turnover.
Yeah, now could be a big time for Jordan Rodriguez, their team leader, the Boston College commit for St. Peter's, who's set back to return. Dever maybe trying to use some life into his team. Haven't had good field position yet. Start out the last 2 drives around their own 20. See if anything changes here. And things aren't looking good. That's a kicked ball right there by Wooten. And oh no, things go from bad to worse for St. Peter's Prep. I mentioned the tough field position all day thus far, and this drive they're going to start off on their own 4-yard line.
Yeah, that looked like a squib kick from John Dever, and boy, did it work beautifully. It bounced off multiple Peters returners, and by the time they got the ball, they were being swarmed at the 5-yard line. You do not, especially down 2 scores and struggling so far in offense, you do not want to start inside your own 5.
Yeah, it's kind of a mistake that they couldn't afford right there. That was Leroy Wilson, number 14. He's only a junior, so understand the nerves a little bit in this hostile territory, but that mistake really going to cost them. Going to have to go 96 yards if they're hoping to score their first touchdown of the night right here.
Yeah, that is definitely something you don't want to do against a team this dominant. This Don Bosco Prep defense only allowed 9.5 points allowed per game. And considering their schedule this year, that is very impressive. So the last thing you want to do is put yourself in your own 4-yard line and put yourself in a horrible situation.
It looks like things weren't quite as dire as we had described. St. Peter's Prep starting off on their own 8, but nonetheless, 92 yards to go for the Marauders through the teeth of this Bosco defense. And so stingy all year long. Now's the kind of time you'd really want Alubola, their 4-star left tackle, to really step up. But he's got his hands full, you know. Right now he's matched up against Robert Eakins, the UMass commit. St. Peter's probably going to look to run the ball here early on this drive, try and get some breathing room and get things going back in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. The first drive did a very good job running a lot of plays towards their receiver. Hunter Watson did a very good job outside runs. And yeah.
Bell hands this one off right here to Teray. Able to make a man miss. And it's a 4-yard gain, but for St. Peter's, that allows them to stay on schedule, set up a 2nd and 6.
Yeah, good hole made by that Peters O-line, but good bouncing off defenders by Teray. He slipped off of O'Neal, bounced off some other linebackers, and got some good yardage to put Peters in a decent situation for 2nd and medium.
St. Peter's lines up on 2nd down, shotgun snap. Teray offset to the left. And this time, once again, it's Abdul Teray, but nothing going, but makes a man miss. That was as impressive of a 3-yard run as you'll ever see from Teray, a guy who's got offers from a whole host of ACC schools, a 3-star recruit. Looks like that's going to set up a 3rd and about 3.
Yeah, that is a great job by Teray getting positive yards in a play that looked pretty much dead. Thank God for Ward McNeil, who was there at the tackle. Now sets up a 3rd and about 3 or 4. See what Peter's offense can do.
A huge situation for St. Peter's Prep, looking to stay on the field, not give the ball back to a Bosco offense that's been on fire. Trey Williams lined up in the backfield, lead blocking for Teray, and nothing going this time around. A whole host of Bosco defenders were there. Looked like Greco was in the mix, a starter on his senior day.
Yeah, that is a great job by Greco, tackle for loss. And now that sets up the 4th down in which Peters will punt the ball and give a ball again to the Don Bosco Prep offense, who has been very dominant.
Yeah, great overall play by those linebackers. They read the motion, they blitzed through the B gaps, which Peters has been struggling with, and it forces a 4th down.
The punt gets off for St. Peter's Prep. Another solid punt, and that one's going to be fair caught by Alvarez, with Don Bosco set to start the ball with the ball on their own 45-yard line.
Bosco's been playing a great game so far. They've had long, sustained drives on offense. They've scored so far in both. They've limited Peters to 0. They've gotten a turnover, and they've got great field position now, looking to start another long, well-sustained drive.
St. Peter's defense takes the field once again. One issue when we were talking to their head coach, Rich Hansen, going into this week is just the fact that their defense has been getting gassed a little bit. Their offense can score in a hurry, play a lot of snaps out there, and early on in this first half, really, they've been on the field for far longer than their counterparts for Bosco. You wonder if that fatigue starts to set in at some point out here tonight. Right there, the handoff, nothing going on 1st down. Gonna get stopped in the backfield. Whole host of guys back there for St. Peter's Prep.
That That is a great job of the St. Peter's defensive line. Looks like Will Malou for Sebastian Gray and also Samaje Moise. Great job of the St. Peter's Prep defense getting a tackle for loss on an offense that really hasn't had much negative plays tonight.
So that's going to set up a 2nd and long for Don Bosco as they have Thomas once again split out next to his quarterback. Man in motion is Jerry. Shane back to pass. He's going to roll out and just throw that one away. Live to see another down. But all of a sudden, this is the first 3rd and long situation that Don Bosco has faced all night long. 3rd and about 15.
Yeah, it looks like Peters is starting to put some real pressure on this sophomore quarterback, Carson Shane. Getting blitzers through the gaps, forcing them to roll out and throw it away. You're starting to turn the tide a bit, and maybe this is what they need to try to start taking back this game.
Yeah, can't overstate how big it would be for the St. Peter's Prep defense to get off the field, get a stop right here. Be once again Thomas set up next to back Carson Shane, Geraci in the backfield as well. And this one is blown dead by our officiating crew. Looks like might have been a false start. We got pink flags out here tonight honoring Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's a very nice touch from our officiating crew.
Snap infraction on the offense.
And it looks like that was a snap infraction right there on the center, Joey Lucas. So that's going to set up a 3rd and even longer.
Yeah, if I were Bosco at this point, you don't want to force a deep pass and throw a turnover. I might just run the ball, try to get as much yards as I can, and then just try to pin Peters in their own territory.
Yeah, Bosco does a screen out to Thomas, who's able to make a man miss, and Kasai Thomas able to pick up the first, or come close to picking up that first down. It'll be 4th and about 2. Yeah. But a huge gain right there on 3rd down, and all of a sudden it's decision time for Dean Sabella.
Yeah, that is a great play by Kasai Thomas. Great yards after catch. Let's see what the Don Bosco offense is on the side here. But if I'm Dan Sabella, I'm not sweating it. Your defense is playing an amazing game, so even if you maybe don't convert it, their defense is playing a very good game, and it's very easy to trust in them.
And feels like a huge, huge situation right here for this St. Peter's Prep defense. Bosco will indeed go for it. 4th and short. Need to get to about the 45-yard line. Shane under center. Hard count. Nobody biting that time around for the St. Peter's Prep defense. And Coach Sabella going to elect to use a timeout.
Yeah, earlier this game, I remember you mentioned to us how the penalties of Peters have really killed them. It looks like they're being very disciplined on defense so far, and it might, pay fruitful for them. They might, it looks like the punting team is coming out, and they're going to get off the field with, finally, for the first time, and stop this Bosco offense.
Yeah, has to feel good to get a stop. The return man, once again, going to be Jordan Rodriguez, looking to see if he can make something happen. This time around, John Dever, who we saw hit a field goal earlier in this half, setting up, trying to pin St. Peter's Prep deep in their own territory. Dever back to punt. And it's a fake! John Dever on senior night breaks the tackle. He's going to keep going. He's got his eyes on the end zone. And going to bring it all the way down to the St. Peter's Prep 15-yard line as that student section here goes crazy.
What a great play by Dan Sabella. Johnny Dever, usually a good punter you would expect to get the put out to the 10, but he sees the gap and takes it, breaks the tackle, and takes it for another extra 20 yards. Great job. That is definitely going to get you a lot of momentum as Don Bosco's Prep. Now, having the ball in field position, another touchdown maybe coming up.
Yeah, what a shift in emotion, right, for St. Peter's Prep. You thought you'd gotten off the field for the first time all night. Instead, you get hit with the fake punt and a great gain for that Bosco punter. And all of a sudden, your back's up against the wall, trying to avoid going down by 3 scores here early.
Yeah, I don't think anyone saw that fake punt coming. I don't think I've seen that fake punt come out this year, but great way to do on senior night, especially with senior punter and kicker Johnny Dever. That's a great play overall by punter and great play designed by Coach Abella.
You can see coaching staff not happy for St. Peter's Prep. They felt like they had to come out here and get a fast start. Bosco's the type of team that if you allow them to get ahead, they can really punch the gas and never look back. So Carson Shane looking to punch another one in and bring this to a 3-score ball game. The run right here to Brennan, and that's an easy touchdown for your Bosco offense. Colin Brennan, the senior, on senior night, one of the most reliable guys on this offense for Don Bosco, and one of the easiest touchdowns he'll score in that color jersey.
That is a great play by the Don Bosco from on the right side. And it's the senior Colin Brennan. And the seniors are really showing up today, bringing a lot of energy to the crowd and to the sidelines.
And you wonder, does St. Peter's Prep have the ability to keep fighting here as Dever comes out try and make this a 17-0 ball game? He will. That one's true. And all of a sudden, you're looking at a 3-score ball game here early at Granatel Stadium.
Yeah, Don Bosco, they've done a very good job establishing the run game. Last week, this team ran for 140 rushing yards against Memphis Catholic in a 28-0 victory. They've done a very good job with the ball with. Also, Don Bosco, here Peters, you need to score, and you need to score very fast.
Yeah, things quickly kind of getting out of hand for the St. Peter's Prep Marauders. We really saw them put some good things together before that fumble on the opening drive, and since then, it has been all Bosco. Really a big situation here. You feel like if they're not able to get anything done on this drive, it really might be over by now.
Yeah, I remember you talked about facing adversity with this team and them overcoming it. Seemed like the first sign of adversity, that fumble, which was big, kind of killed their momentum, and now they haven't seemed to recover. I mean, this is an amazing team, but if they want to win this game, they really need to try to reset. Just imagine it's 0-0. Just try to get some points on the board and start, clawing back in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you can't score 17 points on one drive, right? So you got to take a one play at a time type mentality. But some good field position to open up this drive would go a long way. There you see another squib kick, and St. Peter's elects to just dive on that one.
This team
Wilson
the turnover battle.
on the reception.
Very great job of stop when needed, getting a timely stop. And that one timely stop is
So all of a sudden, it's really up to Tyler Bell, the UMass commit, 6'1", 192 pounds, to rally his troops. One thing that's been a big feature of this St. Peter's Prep offense all year long has been the screen game. Haven't seen them work all that much this year. As you see a man in motion, split back looks to be Barksdale, the captain. And Bell's gonna throw this one. Is his receiver able to get his feet in?
Looks like it was under Watson.
Phillips on the stop.
Watson, the Temple commit. Looks like he was in fact able to get his feet down, and that's going to be a nice little gain on first down. Set up a second and about 4. See that student section here, Granatel Stadium. Just one of the very best in all of New Jersey football, Super Football Conference. This time to Barksdale up the middle, and absolutely nothing going. A whole host of Don Bosco defenders got there. It looked like it was led by Robert Eakins, the senior.
Yeah, this D-line is doing a great job filling these B gaps, filling these holes, really limiting the St. Peter's offense, putting them, it looks like, in a third and medium this time, but still a third down situation in their own territory. And it's, putting a lot of pressure on this Tyler Bell and this offense.
Feels like now or never for St. Peter's Prep on offense to get something going. Looking at 3rd and about 5. Bell with the split back. Barksdale trips to the right. And pressure coming. Bell drops back, not a lot of time. And he's brought down by a combo of Eakins as well as Amari McNeil all over him. There was just no time for Bell to drop back and try and see what was going on there.
That's a great play for Don Bosco defense. A perfect time blitz with create the gap and pressure. And St. have to punt the ball again with 4 minutes to go and give the ball right back to Don Bosco.
Yeah, it looks like right there Bosco took advantage of the inexperience on the O-line. As you see that punt back deep, this time around Alvarez is going to return it. In fact, he's slippery and dangerous in open space. He wants it. There we go. Isaiah Alvarez going to set up some great field position. Carson Shane and company are going to open up this drive in the red zone.
Isaiah Alvarez is truly a dangerous player, not only on offense, but also on special teams. He's returned a kick return for a touchdown this year. It was against St. Joe's, and you see there how dynamic he is on the punt returns, making defenders miss, slippery off tackles. It's really hard, and he's fast. He's really hard to take down, and it really puts St. Peter's and gives, the Bosco offense great field position to maybe get up another score.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Isaiah Alvarez has 9 Division I offers, hosts of Big 10 and Big 12 programs going after the 3-star recruit. And after the way he's been playing today, rivals with 24/7 might have to reevaluate that ranking.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's, almost, he's only a junior, and he's already looking ready to play at the collegiate level, especially in these Power 4 conferences. He looks very dynamic, quick, shifty, hard to tackle. He's just, exactly what these programs will want to get, future.
Really just been no answer in the secondary for St. Peter's Prep up against Alvarez. I mean, you thought that guys like Jordan Rodriguez, the Boston College commit, but also Ryan Wooten playing corner, who's got a host of ACC and SEC offers himself, would maybe be a solution Alvarez brings to the table, but they've had a tough time out here today, and it's been a steady diet of number 1.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
of number 1.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you haven't seen offense. Hunter Watson, your star receiver, 6 receptions for 120 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. You have not seen much of him tonight, and that stinks to Phoenix Evans. So number 2 player, he has all the offers. Penn State, Oregon, Notre Dame. He's done a very good job on the man-to-man coverage, preventing further offense tonight.
It has been impressive. As Carson Shane lines up, this time it's Thomas back there. He's going to hand that ball off to Zakai Murphy, but nothing going right there. He's going to be brought down by Tyre Clark.
Yeah.
Really nice play there by Clark, who's a ball hawk of a safety, the junior.
Yeah, it was a great read and fill by Tyre Clark. It was a jet sweep, and it looks like it was blocked pretty well, but he cut through those blocks and just wrapped up Zakai Murphy, immediately getting what looked like to be a tackle for loss, and it was a great play by Tyre Clark.
Going to set up second down here for Don Bosco. Carson Shane. Man in motion. Andrew Wilson.
Looks like it's a false start on the offense.
And Bosco going to be going back. A bit uncharacteristic of this team. They play relatively clean football all year long, but we've actually seen some penalties stacking up against them. Fortunately, with that, as explosive as they've been with a couple of these guys, and Alvarez and Thomas, hasn't hurt them, but something nonetheless. Thomas, the setback. Geraci, the tight end to the left. And a nice open hole for Kasai Thomas. Bounced through a couple of wood goal situation, or actually,
Thomas on the carry.
sorry, looks like it might be 3rd and short.
By a gaggle of Marauders.
Yeah, that is a great job by Kasai Thomas getting positive yards. Don Bosco Prep, I've noticed, normally when you expect to see actually doing a great job getting positive yardage, which are getting 4th and short and they're getting it and they're going for it. They're converting. Great job keeping the defense off the balance. They never know what's coming, and it's big.
3rd and 3 here. Kasai Thomas, once again, the setback. And you got to imagine that forward, if you get this down to a 4th and 1 or so, the way that your offensive line has been opening up holes.
That is their second charge timeout of that
Looks like that's going to be a timeout assessed to Don Bosco.
Yeah, it seems like they've been doing so well with their run game. I would keep sticking with the run game with Kasai Thomas or Colin Brennan for that matter. I mean, it seems like your O-line's doing a great job pushing, the defense back, creating holes for these running backs to make some moves and score. I think, they're right in their rhythm right now. They're exactly where they want to be, so I would just stick with it.
Don Bosco just been so steady offensively all day long. One time that St. Peter's Prep felt like they had gotten off the field. Dan Sabella dials up a little trickery, and there's about a 25-yard gain for John Dever on the big punt. Now looking at a 3rd and 3 situation, up 17-0, and hoping to add to that lead. Once again, it's Thomas, the split back. Carson Shane hands that one off. Thomas is right there, and he's able to pick up the first down. Move the sticks.
Very great job of the St. Peter's defense. Kasai Thomas is very good job getting a lot of
Clark on the shot.
St. Peter's has done a very good job getting the ankle bites to get the tackles that could possibly be touchdowns for 20-plus yard games.
Yeah, I also thought that was a great down block scheme by the O-line. Rhett Morris, the Wake Forest commit, pulled out across, set an edge on that DN, allowed Kasai to get some extra yardage in the first down.
Sandro doing a good job up front as well. The right tackle. This one, once again, to Thomas, who's going to break a would-be tackle of Aaron Sereno.
Sereno on the stop.
Sereno, really talented guy. Only a sophomore out there, but really long at 6'4", 215 pounds. And he's a guy who can play some traditional linebacker. Also like to line him up off the edge on 3rd down situations.
Check it out, y'all.
Pin his ears back and rush the passer, but the way that Don Bosco's been staying on schedule, not many opportunities like that tonight. 2nd and goal from about the 5-yard line. Carson Shane's gonna make a quick audible. Hand this one off once again to Kasai Thomas, who's gonna bounce this one outside. He's got a lead blocker, and he scores! He just followed the block of his center, Joey Lucas, who was able to keep him safe all the way into the end zone, and that's gonna extend the lead to 23-0 Ironmen.
That is a great job by Kasai Thomas. Great touchdown, his 2nd of the night. Great job by Joey Lucas and great job by Kasai Thomas for following. Most of these runs tonight have been outside runs and runs to that right side. Great job to the Don Bosco Prep O-lineman. Great job by Kasai Thomas. Now, of course,
as John Dever comes out to extend the lead to 24-0 here in this first half. Probably worth mentioning, Rhett Morris is an absolute star, right? He's a 3-year starter. He's 6'3", 305, committed to West Virginia. So, he's mainly the guy that people talk about when they talk about this offensive line for Don Bosco. But Joey Lucas, as only a sophomore, he's 6'2", 280 pounds. And this is his first year starting. He's just gotten better and better each week.
Yeah, that's the good thing about having a leader like Rhett in your locker room. Although he is a sophomore, that whole line of 2 seniors and a junior, you have a lot of mentors, a lot of people that can help you out, and that's very good to have.
Absolutely. Brings everybody up, and that's what the hallmark of the Bosco team really is. Just, the guys set a specific culture. This is how we're going to operate, and when guys grow up in this, they learn one way how to play it the right way. That's what Dan Sabella prides himself on as he builds his program.
Yeah, this team is defined by heart, grittiness, toughness, and just smash-mouth football. They've been playing it very well so far. Their O-line pushing the D-line back, and their running backs making moves, barreling through defenders and getting these, grinding scores.
Once again, a Dever kick, this time not a squib. It's going to go to number 1, Hunter Watson, the Temple commit, who finds a little bit of space. And for once here today, St. Peter's Prep going to start off with some good field position out to the 41-yard line for Tyler Bell.
Yeah, this is the Hunter Watson that the St. Peter's Prep offense is really. This kid is very talented. He has 682 receiving yards and 13 touchdowns. Coming off of a game where he had 100 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. This kid is very bright, and St. Peter's would like to see more of him coming this half.
Yeah, if I'm Rich Hansen and I'm trying to put together a game plan for this drive, they haven't worked the screen much. When you look at this team, so much of the talent is concentrated around the edge. So many different receivers they can throw your way, but haven't been able to get those guys the kind of touches that they wanted going into it, allowing this Bosco defense to pin their ears back. So we'll see what happens on this drive as Tyler Bell sets up with Teray set to the left. Bell back to throw. And this time around, he's trying to target Trey Williams, the junior receiver, but just outside his outstretched hands.
Yeah, tough play there. They only have a minute left to score, and with a play like that where it could have been a gain, but ultimately was a missed opportunity, that kind of just represents the game, just lost opportunities, killed momentum, especially when you're down big, you need those plays like that, and,
And perhaps that wind coming into effect, right?
Yeah, possibly. Could have missed up the ball a little bit, and it's really just, put a lot of, weight on this Peters offense.
That time around, Hunter Watson able to catch the ball on the slant route right at the sticks, so depends on the spot, but this is going to be close to a St. Peter's Prep first down.
Yeah, that is a great throw by Tyler Bell. Perfectly placed in the quick slant, getting positive yardage. Hunter Watson, that's a great job of them getting more involved, and they have to keep doing that if they want any chance of scoring.
And he was indeed able to get the first down as St. Peter's moves the chains for the first time since their opening drive. Once again, Teray got trips right. And Bell just unable to connect with his intended receiver, Hudson Pritchard. Pritchard, another one of those guys out on the edge who can really make you pay. He got the start here tonight. One of a couple seniors in that receiver room for the Marauders.
Yeah, but Bosco's been doing a great job covering and limiting these receivers, forcing Peters to rely on a B-gap run game that they haven't been very sufficient in so far this season. So they've been doing a great job so far in this half.
Tough thing is when you're in obvious passing situations, this secondary for Don Bosco, as talented as any in the country, is Bell back and brought down. Big time sack right there from Aiden O'Neill, a guy who himself has a whole host of offers. I know I sound like a broken record, but he's a 3-star recruit, has offers from the likes of Penn State, Washington, Tennessee, and just comes firing through there, nowhere to go if you're Tyler Bell, with some tight coverage on the back end for Don Bosco.
Yeah, that is a great play by Aiden O'Neill. He has 5.5 sacks now on the season. Great job by Aiden O'Neill. Great job putting pressure. The wind has been a very big factor tonight. A lot of throws down the seams for Tyler Bell have not been very accurate due to the wind. So in these situations, when you know the pass is coming, it's been very hard for St. Peter's to get any capture.
So with less than a minute to go in this first half, it really feels like a must-score situation for St. Peter's Prep. Trailing here 24-0. And as you mentioned, Don Bosco elected to defer the coin toss, so they'll be getting the ball to start this second half. Really now or never type situation for Tyler Bell and company to try and get something going as they are in plus territory. That student section, always so much fun here. Granitel Stadium tonight, Halloween, everybody's sporting some good costumes. Wondering if those guys are getting cold at all. I know I'm a little chilly sitting here, but sometimes it's worth enduring the cold when you get to watch top flight football with one of the top teams in the entire nation here in Ramsey.
Yeah, it almost seems like the brotherhood is keeping the warmth around them, and it's really great to see them bond together and, really show out for their team like this.
So Sack brings it back. 3rd and long type situation. And that time around, Watson able to make a man miss and gain back all that yardage lost on the sack.
That is a great job by Hunter Watson. This drive, Hunter Watson has been targeted 4 times. The previous drives, all the drives before that, he's only been targeted 3 times. So great job giving the ball to your guy, and it's working very well for them.
So it sets up a big 3rd down situation for Tyler Bell and his Marauder offense. Not easy to be in these obvious passing situations. As I mentioned, Christian Vasquez getting the first start of his young career, number 65 right there. at left guard. He's had his hands full all day long trying to block Aiden Eakins. Steps up in the pocket is Bell, and just absolutely nowhere to go. That time around looked like it was Aiden O'Neal as well as Makai Allen who got.
Line is just, closing the pocket quickly for Tyler Bell. The hit was so hard that his helmet came off. That's how physical and brutal this D-line is, from the combo of Aiden Eakins, Robert Eakins, and Aiden O'Neal. It just must be, a nightmare to play against that D-line.
Yeah, can't be any fun whatsoever for Tyler Bell as we look at a fourth down situation. And you're watching Super Football Conference Network. Here in this first half, Carson Shane just going to knee this one, happily going to halftime with a 24-0 lead. Bosco really proving why they're one of the top programs in the entire nation this year, really giving no room to breathe for this St. Peter's program. And with that, we'll go to break. You're watching the Super Football Conference Network.
Jets fans, clear the runway. Justin Fields and the New York Jets are taking on Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, November 9th at 1 p.m.
Under pressure, he'll be sacked!
Be there at MetLife Stadium to experience the action and energy of Jets game day.
Justin Fields all the way to the end zone.
Lock in your seats at nyjets.com/tickets.
Welcome. Come on in.
Looking for mental health services for you or your loved ones? We have a signature way to pair you up with a therapist that meets your specific needs. At the Lucan Center, we are driven by science and led by compassion.
Thank you.
Experience the Lucan difference at any of our 7 locations in Northern Jersey. Log on to lucancenter.com or call us at 201-409-0393. At Lucan Center, get Lucan centered today.
Jets fans, clear the runway. Justin Fields and the New York Jets are taking on Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, November 9th at 1 p.m.
Under pressure, he'll be sacked!
Be there at MetLife Stadium to experience the action and energy of Jets game day.
Justin Fields all the way to the end zone.
Lock in your seats at nyjets.com/tickets.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back.
Prosperity is achieved one step at a time, with each success building on the last, transforming your money into something extraordinary. Whatever your goals, the team at Kearney Bank can help them take shape with products and services that help you master your money. Your first car, college tuition, a new home, even retirement. Let's make your dreams a reality together at Kearney Bank. See how today at kearneybank.com.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
Welcome. Come on in.
Looking for mental health services for you or your loved ones? We have a signature way to pair you up with a therapist that meets your specific needs. At the Lucan Center, we are driven by science and led by compassion.
Thank you.
Experience the Lucan difference at any of our 7 locations in northern Jersey. Log on to lucancenter.com or call us at 201-409-0393. At Lucan Center, get Lucan centered today.
Jets fans, clear the runway. Justin Fields and the New York Jets are taking on Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, November 9th at 1 p.m.
Under pressure, he'll be sacked!
Be there at MetLife Stadium to experience the action and energy of Jets game day.
Justin Fields all the way to the end zone.
Lock in your seats at nyjets.com/tickets.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back.
This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP Media.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep it moving. Stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back.
Prosperity is achieved one step at a time, with each success building on the last, transforming your money into something extraordinary. Whatever your goals, the team at Kearney Bank can help them take shape with products and services that help you master your money. Your first car, college tuition, a new home, even retirement. Let's make your dreams a reality together at Kearney Bank. See how today at kearneybank.com.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving. Stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
Welcome. Come on in.
Looking for mental health services for you or your loved ones? We have a signature way to pair you up with a therapist that meets your specific needs. At the Lucan Center, we are driven by science and led by compassion.
Thank you.
Experience the Lucan difference at any of our 7 locations in northern Jersey. Log on to lucancenter.com or call us at 201-409-0393. At Lucan Center, get Lucan centered today.
Jets fans, clear the runway. Justin Fields and the New York Jets are taking on Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, November 9th at 1 p.m.
Under pressure, he'll be sacked!
Be there at MetLife Stadium to experience the action and energy of Jets game day.
Justin Fields all the way to the end zone.
Lock in your seats at nyjets.com/tickets.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back.
This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP Media.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving. Stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back.
Prosperity is achieved one step at a time, with each success building on the last, transforming your money into something extraordinary. Whatever your goals, the team at Kearney Bank can help them take shape with products and services that help you master your money. Your first car, college tuition, a new home, even retirement. Let's make your dreams a reality together at Kearney Bank. See how today at kearneybank.com.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
Welcome. Come on in.
Looking for mental health services for you or your loved ones? We have a signature way to pair you up with a therapist that meets your specific needs. At the Lucan Center, we are driven by science and led by compassion.
Thank you.
Experience the Lucan difference at any of our 7 locations in Northern Jersey. Log on to lucancenter.com or call us at 201-409-0393. At Lucan Center, get Lucan centered today.
Jets fans, clear the runway. Justin Fields and the New York Jets are taking on Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, November 9th at 1 p.m.
Under pressure, he'll be sacked!
Be there at MetLife Stadium to experience the action and energy of Jets game day.
Justin Fields all the way to the end zone.
Lock in your seats at nyjets.com/tickets.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back.
This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP Media.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day. When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP Media.
Red's Restaurant and Bar is located in the heart of the Meadowlands, just 2 minutes away from MetLife Stadium and the Izod Center. Red's is perfect for every tailgating experience, including fan groups traveling for away games, sporting events, collegiate alumni events, corporate parties, or social events. Red's shuttle runs all night to and from each event. Red's easily accessible location makes it a great place to meet no matter where you are coming from. If you're following your team to an away game, or showing off your Jets or Giants pride, you can arrive at NJ Transit's Secaucus Junction, and Red's shuttle will pick you up from your station or hotel. NJ Transit buses from Port Authority stop directly at Red's. Red's offers
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP Media.
Red's Restaurant and Bar is located in the heart of the Meadowlands, just 2 minutes away from MetLife Stadium and the Izod Center. Red's is perfect for every tailgating experience, including fan groups traveling for away games, sporting events, collegiate alumni events, corporate parties, or social events. Red's shuttle runs all night to and from each event. Red's easily accessible location makes it a great place to meet no matter where you are coming from. If you're following your team to an away game, or showing off your Jets or Giants pride, you can arrive at NJ Transit's Secaucus Junction, and Red's shuttle will pick you up from your station or hotel. NJ Transit buses from Port Authority stop directly at Red's. Red's offers
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP Media.
Red's Restaurant and Bar is located in the heart of the Meadowlands, just 2 minutes away from MetLife Stadium and the Izod Center. Red's is perfect for every tailgating experience, including fan groups traveling for away games, sporting events, collegiate alumni events, corporate parties, or social events. Red's shuttle runs all night to and from each event. Red's easily accessible location makes it a great place to meet no matter where you are coming from. If you're following your team to an away game, or showing off your Jets or Giants pride, you can arrive at NJ Transit's Secaucus Junction, and Red's shuttle will pick you up from your station or hotel. NJ Transit buses from Port Authority stop directly at Red's. Red's offers
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day. When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back.
Prosperity is achieved one step at a time, with each success building on the last, transforming your money into something extraordinary. Whatever your goals, the team at Kearney Bank can help them take shape with products and services that help you master your money. Your first car, college tuition, a new home, even retirement. Let's make your dreams a reality together at Kearney Bank. See how today at kearneybank.com.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP Media.
Welcome. Come on in.
Looking for mental health services for you or your loved ones? We have a signature way to pair you up with that meets your specific needs. At the Lucan Center, we are driven by science and led by compassion.
Thank you.
Experience the Lucan difference at any of our 7 locations in Northern Jersey. Log on to lucancenter.com or call us at 201-409-0393. At Lucan Center, get Lucan centered today.
Jets fans, clear the runway. Justin Fields and the New York Jets are taking on Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, November 9th at 1 p.m.
Under pressure, he'll be sacked!
Be there at MetLife Stadium to experience energy of Jets game day.
Justin Fields all the way to the end zone.
Lock in your seats at nyjets.com/tickets.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back.
This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP Media. This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP Media.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP Media.
That first half with a 24-0 lead. Quick reminder that our halftime show is brought to you by Alliance Orthopedics, the official orthopedic partner of the Super Football Conference Network. Guys, it was a great first half for the Bosco Ironmen. Not so much for St. Peter's, and a chance for Bosco to pile on right here.
Yeah, Bosco's done a very great job getting timely stops and dominating on defense. This offense that allows 37 points per game has been held scoreless this first half. Great job of the Don Bosco Prep defense, once again proving why they are the #1 team in the state and arguably the #1 defense in the state. So let's see what the Don Bosco Prep offense can do coming out of halftime.
Carson Shane back here out on the field to open up this third quarter on offense for the Ironmen. This third quarter brought to you by Parisi. Carson Shane set up Kasai Thomas. The split back. Haven't seen Dante DeLuca out here tonight much. The third head of that three-headed monster. Saw Brennan score a touchdown earlier. And Shane's going to dive forward for a nice little gain there on first down.
Yeah, good read by Shane. Rolled out right. Was trying to look for a receiver. When he didn't see any, he saw just some open space up front. Went, a couple yards, dived down for about 5 yards. Just smart play by Shane. Don't need to, risk anything, especially when you're up 4 scores like this.
And you would think with the 24-0 lead, Don Bosco going to lean even more on that rushing attack here in the second half. Although, open it up right there. And who is it but Zakai Murphy? Deep ball placed perfectly by Carson Shane. Rolls out to his left-hand side and delivers an absolute strike. So things moving just as easily as they did in that first half here in this opening drive of the third quarter.
Yeah, that is a great play by Zakai Murphy. You have Isaiah Alvarez, you have Jeremiah Alvarez, you have Kasai Thomas, JT Garrison, but do not sleep on Zakai Murphy. This junior, he is very brave, he's a very great player. And another reason why this Don Bosco Prep defense is so dominant.
Play fake, and that one actually handed off to Kasai Thomas, who's having himself a really impressive day. Kasai Thomas, he's 5'11", 175, so not necessarily the biggest running back you're going to see in the Super Football Conference, but boy, does he run with some physicality.
Yeah, absolutely. He is not afraid to take some hits, bounce off defenders, and just keep driving, When it seems like he's wrapped up, he's still driving his leg, trying to get extra yards. He's got a lot of physicality and integrity in him. It makes him a great running back.
Without a doubt. Bunch set to the left. Shane going to fake that to Thomas. He was initially looking for Murphy, but he's going to hit Geraci, his tight end. And that's the first time that we've seen JT Geraci get involved in the passing game. He's a guy, 3-star recruit, 6'5" target, and he's got offers from the likes of Alabama and Auburn. So no matter where you look, just weapons galore for Don Bosco.
Yeah, this makes his offense so great. Looks like this play is set up for him to pass, a block, and then a release, which keeps the offense off balance. That is one of the most hardest plays of formations to guard. Great play by Carson Shane, knowing what's coming, and great play by JT Garrison.
So sets up the first and goal situation for this Ironman offense. Shane going to hand the ball off to Kasai Thomas. Patient right there, but nothing going on first down. Whole host of St. Peter's Prep defenders in there on the tackle.
Yeah, great fill by that D-line. Seems like they've been, having a tough time, spending a lot of time on the field. They've allowed 4 different scores, so, it's been really tough to stop this dynamic offense from the running back Kasai Thomas to the passing attack from Carson Shane to Isaiah Alvarez or JT or Zakai. It's really tough to stop.
Yeah, Marco Valdivia, the nose tackle, been fighting his tail off. 300-pounder clogging things up. Shane rolls out to his left-hand side and places a perfect ball right there for Isaiah Alvarez. It has been the #1 show all day long here in Ramsey, New Jersey, and he's going to tack on another touchdown for Bosco.
That is a great play by the Don Bosco Prep offense. Play action pass when you most expect it to pass. And who is it other than Isaiah Alvarez? He has been the #1 receiver all season, doing what has to be done. And Don Bosco Prep now takes a 30-0 lead in this dominant performance on this Halloween evening.
And I think there's a lot of potential outcomes we were thinking of going into this game, but 31-0 with just over 9 minutes remaining in the third quarter was not on my bingo card.
Yeah, this is definitely what you weren't expecting. I mean, if you go back to the pregame show, St. Peter's Prep, this team was 4-0 on the road. This team is 7-1 with their best start since 2019. This offense averages 37 points per game. So to see this team at halftime being shut out just shows you how good the Don Bosco Prep defense is. I mean, they only allowed 9 points per game. So great job of the coordinators, great job of the team. Dominant performance tonight on the road, at home.
So Andrew, if you're Rich Hansen, the head coach for St. Peter's Prep, what are you telling your guys on the sideline right now? You weren't expecting to go down 31-0, and hey, you might not walk out of here with a victory tonight, but you still got the playoffs right around the corner, and you got to figure out who you are as a team in moments of adversity like this.
Yeah, I would tell them, just keep your head high. It looks gloomy, but we can still get some good work out of this, try to, get some good play designs, get some good offense going, and try to prepare ourselves for the playoffs, because they're definitely going to see teams like these again in the playoffs, so they need to prepare themselves, especially in a tough game like this.
Another squib kick from DeVere. This time around, it's returned by Leroy Wilson, who had a tough time handling a kick return earlier. This able to get some decent field position for St. Peter's Prep, who are going to start on their own 37-yard line.
Great job with the Don Bosco. If you're Dan Sabella and Don Bosco, you're looking very forward to 2 weeks. With possibly, if tonight will result in a win, you get a #1 seed, which gets you a lot of benefits, including having home field advantage. This crowd plays a very huge factor in games, and against Bergen, which was at home, it played a very huge factor in which Trey Tallafieri and their offense had a lot of penalties and mistakes. So this #1 seed will be a very huge factor going into the playoffs.
So much to play for here. As you see Tyler Bell line up, trying to get things back on track for his offense. Hands the ball off to Teray, but nothing going for the junior.
Yeah, this team overall is just well-rounded, from a dynamic powerhouse offense to just a stout, fundamentally sound defense. It's like a brick wall, running through that D-line. From Eakins, the Eakins duo to Aiden O'Neal to Akapini to Mackay. It's really hard to get through.
Just look at that size up front. You got O'Neal at 6'6", 250. Aiden Eakins at 6'1", 240, and his older brother Robert at 6'2", 265. So a lot of beef up front for Don Bosco. The handoff or play fake. And that was on target from Tyler Bell, his intended receiver Hunter Watson, but slipped through his hands. And you wonder if the cold weather starting to become a little bit of a factor for these guys.
That was also great coverage by Zion Matthews. Great coverage, putting pressure and putting hands on your #1 receiver, forcing a drop. Possibly because of the cold weather, but it's still a great stop, great pressure, and great defense.
Yeah, from this great coverage from the Don Bosco secondary to the cold weather and wind, the big factor of this Peters offense, their passing game has been very limited, and as a result, it's limited how much their offense has produced.
So once again, third down and relatively long territory, third and about 8 for St. Peter's Prep. Bell back, and just no time able to evade the initial rush from Aiden O'Neal, and able to make a great throw there down the edge. Trying to figure out who that was on the sideline right there for St. Peter's Prep.
That is a great play. Just like you said, Tyler Bell, he's a very great quarterback throwing the ball, but he can also get it done with his legs. Great job. He saw Aiden O'Neal coming, dodging the sack, and taking it for positive yardage. This is what he does.
Yeah, this is what they need right now. They may be down, but those reps like that where, they're dealing with adversity with pressure and making those plays is what they need.
Bell once again drops back, pressure in his face. I've said that a lot of times today. And using those legs to pick up a nice gain on first down. But it looks like there's a flag. We'll see what our white hat has in store.
Once again, Tyler Bell using his legs with no shield. He has been getting pressured a lot, which is something that you do not want if you're facing the #1 team in the road. But he has done a very good job trying to prevent sacks, trying to prevent tackles for loss, and getting positive gains out of him.
Yeah, you know, tough situation coming in, your offensive line banged up. Usually you got Obama Toure sitting there at left guard. Instead, you got Vasquez making his first start. In addition, the right tackle, Emmanuel Gonzalez, is showing a lot of heart out there. He's been fighting through an injury out here today. We weren't even sure if he was going to be able to go, but questions of whether or not number 74 has been at full strength, and this Bosco defensive front really getting after him. So Toure, the back set up to the right, hand the ball off, and he's met by a whole host of Bosco defenders right there immediately in the backfield. It looked like Matthew Acapinti, the UCF commit, was in there on the stop.
Yeah, great blitz by that front seven. Gino Greco got in there, put some pressure on, and, you know, just then Toure was met with just a swarm of Ironmen, including Matthew Acapinti. It's really hard to establish a running game against such just a powerful and just, you know, ferocious front seven like these Ironmen.
So second down situation coming up here for the Marauders offense. Sitting at their own 40-yard line, trying to get something going. Been so prolific all year long, but still a big 0 on the scoreboard for them. Bell, quick drop, and just a little bit off target for his intended receiver, Hunter Watson, who, as you mentioned, had a huge game last time that St. Peter's was out on the field, but has been mostly limited by this Bosco defense.
Yeah, their defense has been doing a great job living the perimeter defense. Pieces like Hunter Watson and Blue Toure, who are normally assassins on the offense, have been very limited, very quiet tonight.
So that's going to set up a third down. Looks like trips right for this Marauders O. Bell ready to take the snap. Toure offset. Showing screen. They're going to go long. And this time around, Watson is able to get there. Get on the board tonight. Right on cue, Hunter Watson. We said, where is number 1? Well, he says, hey, I'm here, and makes a big statement to finally break onto the scoreboard for St. Peter's.
Hey, great play by Peters offense. Tyler Bell dropped back, saw his star receiver Hunter Watson wide open on the go route, just let it fly up there. Easy play for a touchdown, and that is, you know, that is what, you know, what they need right now. They need confidence boosters like that, saying, hey, I scored against the number 1 team in the state, you know, possibly one of the top teams in the country like this. And, you know, if you could do that, then you could do that against any team
Bradley
in the
Abraham
playoffs.
back to kick, and the kick is blocked. So Bosco, just when it looked like St. Peter's has gotten some positive momentum, able to block the PAT, but nonetheless got to feel good for the Marauders O to finally get on the board, and it was a huge connection from Bell to Watson to help him do so.
Yeah, that was a beautiful release by Hunter Watson. Got him on the outside for the fade route. Beautiful ball, beautiful everything. If this is St. Peter's Prep, exactly what you want. You're getting points on the board. You have 6 minutes and a half left in this quarter and another 12. We're just seeing timely stops after stopping these points, and hopefully pray for the best.
And it seems like an insurmountable task trying to come back, but hey, you know, last week we watched as Berg 21-0 deficit to force that game into overtime, so crazy things can happen in this league. I remember, guys, from my time back in college, my head coach, Dabo Sweeney, always telling us when he had a huge task at hand, how do you eat an elephant? You can't eat an elephant all at once. You got to eat an elephant one bite at a time. So if you're St. Peter's, one bite at a time, try and claw your way back in here and see what you can do. But if you want to get there, it's going to first take a big stop on defense on this upcoming possession for Bosco.
Yes, definitely. You got the touchdown you wanted. A great play about Hunter Watson and Tyler Bell. Now the defensive. This team had 24 points in the first half, which is amazing for a team like this. So now it's time to get the timely stops and then focus that on more touchdowns.
Sophomore Bradley Abraham set to kick off for St. Peter's Prep. Looked like he was going for a bit of an onside kick right there. Maybe a surprise onside, but not catching anybody off guard. The flag down on the play. Looks like this might have been a false start. Encroachment by the kicking team. Looks like that was number 89, or nope. Said actually that's David Rojas, the sophomore, ready to receive, but St. Peter's going to be moved back by 5 yards right here. And you got to appreciate the aggression coming out of Rich Hansen, trying to go for the onside kick. Hey, you know, you're going to need to steal possession at some point if you want to get back into this one, but Bosco looked like they were ready. A little bit of a pooch kick right there. It's going to be number 25, Andrew Wilson, on the return, who we see playing kind of that H-back position on offense for Bosco. And they're going to have some great field position coming out the gate, looking to put another one into the end zone.
Yeah, that's a nice job by Andrew Wilson getting the reception of the positive yards. Andrew Wilson, the young sophomore, has had a very great season, including a 60-yard touchdown against Seton Hall. Looking very much forward to see what he can do this coming playoffs and the rest of his Bosco Ironman career.
Yeah, Wilson, a guy who doesn't get as much fanfare at that tight end position as JT Geraci. And listen, Geraci's 6'5" and being recruited by about every coach in the country, but so nice to have another tight end who can really contribute in the blocking game, and then when he gets his hands on the ball, like you just saw right there on special teams, make something happen.
Yeah, definitely. That plays a huge part in the run game, which when Bosco is so successful.
Colin Brennan in at running back. Had a touchdown earlier on this is senior night, but he's going to get wrapped up with pretty much nothing going. Is Evan Pratt on the tackle.
It's great to see how this Peters D-line is still fighting, even though they're down by multiple scores. That is exactly what you want to, see if you're, Coach Rich Hansen. You want to see them fight, no matter what. Have that heart, have that integrity, because you definitely need that in huge playoff games, which they are going to play in the next couple weeks.
See Sebastian Gray right there, number 99. Right there, Brennan able to break a couple tackles. Keep things moving in the right direction. It's going to set up a 3rd and short situation.
That is a great job of the St. Peter's Prep defense. It looks like now junior Dylan Rona is how now entered the game. Smart move by Dan Sabella. You're up 25 points. No need to get your starters out there and get them hurt when you have a long playoff run coming out.
And Rona, the backup, he's a capable guy, the dual threat. He actually started off the season as the starter, wound up losing his job week 1 during that game at Melissa in Texas. Shane helped them storm back and get the win on the road, but he's a very capable guy himself. Rona back to pass, and just a little bit off target for his intended receivers, Zakai Murphy.
Yeah, the wind is definitely playing a factor in tonight's games. Most deep balls that usually get completed are incomplete. Maybe that's another reason why St. Peter's offense hasn't been dominant. A team that usually relies on the pass has not been giving much passes tonight due to tonight's weather.
So this is going to set up the second time we see the punt unit out on the field for Del Barton this evening. First time around, we saw John DeVere go for a little fake and bring about 25 yards. I'd be a lot more surprised to see a fake in this situation. Endeavor will indeed punt the ball off. Nice hang time right there. That one's going to get a favorable bounce if you're a St. Peter's fan. We'll start with the ball on around the 25-yard line.
Let's see how this Peters offense responds in this drive. They're still down by 4 scores and 25 points, but as I said earlier, you want, as Coach Rich Hansen, to see the heart and fight in this team, even if they're down multiple scores, because you need that fight when you're down in a close game against maybe a Joe's or, a DePaul if they see them again in the playoffs. So you definitely need to see this fight, and it would be a good test to see if they still, fight, try to make some good plays on offense, and try to storm back a little bit against this tough Ironman team.
It seems like so often if you're a coach, really figure out the character of your team and who the real fighters are in these situations of adversity. So good sign seeing them score on the last drive. They'll look to continue to build on that momentum. But that's not going to help right there. A drop from Amari Jones on first down as they look to stay on schedule.
Yeah, that was a pretty good play call by Tyler Brown, the offense, but Amari Jones just couldn't get it. Fortunate. Great throw, but no catch.
You see Olubobola chatting a little bit. Big number 52 at left tackle. As I mentioned, he's a 4-star recruit. Has offers from 30-plus Division I programs. And you can see why. He's 6'6", 275 pounds. And though he's had his hands full out here today, he's a guy who has as bright a future as anybody you're going to see on the SFCN. Trey Williams, the motion man. Barksdale, the split back, lined up next to Tyler Bell. And he's going to get the carry. Nothing going there. Was met immediately by Robert Eakins, the UMass commit.
Yeah, great shed by Robert Eakins. He was initially blocked, but he cut inside and filled that hole perfectly. That shows how much how much technique he has, and he's definitely gonna need that in college as he goes on to UMass and tries to help out that program. But just a great play overall. Shows why he's a 3-star recruit and a good player for this Ironman D-line.
As we've mentioned a couple times, 2 Minutemen commits in this game. One for St. Peter's being Tyler Bell, and then on the flip side of the ball, you got Eakins. Move St. Peter's back even a little bit further. Set up a 3rd down and long situation, which is exactly what they're trying to avoid against kind of talent you got to go against with this Bosco secondary.
I've noticed a little bit of an adjustment from Dan Sabell in the offense. The first half and that first drive in the second half, they're running the 4-man front of the D-line. Now they have gotten back to a 3-man D-line, most likely to maybe get more coverage because, as you saw, that last drive, you had Hunter Watson with a 40-yard touchdown, so maybe getting 3 linemen for more protection.
Quick as Bosco dials up some pressure, able to evade that first would-be tackler, and Bell fires this downfield just out of the outstretched hands of Trey Williams. And that's the second time he's trying to dial up number 6 downfield, but hasn't been able to place that ball exactly where he wants to. Maybe that wind a bit of a factor.
Yeah, I would say, if it weren't for the wind, that might have been a good play. But, unfortunately, the wind kind of misjudged that ball. But a great underlying factor of this offense is their scramble drill. When they're pressured, Tyler Bell can use his legs, escape the pocket and make some nice throws.
Corey Nyok with a nice punt. Initially dropped, but look at for Isaiah Alvarez. He's got some room to run, and that's always bad news if you're an opposing fan.
Yeah, Isaiah Alvarez, he does it every single time after time. Always finds horrible situations and turns it into a lot of yards. Great job by Isaiah Alvarez. This kid is a yak machine. Looking very forward to see him in this playoff run.
And, typically you got your big receivers, right? Think like your T. Higgins of the world, the big tall guys who can go up and, high point a ball. And then you got your slippery receivers. You got your Tyreek Hills of the world. They're usually smaller guys who are kind of electric in the open space. I feel like he's a combo of both because he's 6'2", but he's as fast and slippery as any guy I've seen at the high school level.
Yeah, even like when he's just running, not even sprinting, he's very fast. It's just, his, innate speed just makes him a very dynamic receiver.
So once again, this is going to be Rona leading the offensive attack. And that time around, looks like it was Kasai Thomas on the run. That's a gain of about 3 or so on first down. And St. Peter's Prep able to get a stop the last time they were out there, but it's been tough sledding on defense all day long, especially when you got Kasai Thomas in the game, a guy who, as just a sophomore, has probably as bright a future as any running back you're going to see in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah, definitely. He's only a sophomore. He's done a very good job. Very good job. He has 6 total touchdowns, and he already has a couple offers. This kid has a very bright future. As if you see here, a nice run.
Yeah, sheds a tackler and able to pick up about 6 on the play. Looks like that's going to set up 3rd down and short.
Yeah, as you said before, his frame doesn't make him look like a power back, but he's almost a mix of both. He could try to run through guys, but as you saw there, he could also make some cuts and juke off defenders. It really is. It makes it tough, to stop him because on the one hand, he's powerful enough to get through you, but on the other hand, he's fast enough to get by you. So it's really tough to limit a player, especially a young player too, like Kasai Thomas.
And can't understate the impact of those big boys up front. You just saw Rhett Morris, a senior, going to West Virginia next year. Right there, quick screen out to Zakai Murphy, and that's going to move the sticks once again for Don Bosco.
Yeah, let's get a little linebacker blitz. Perfectly read, a little screen pass. Didn't get much, but a nice reception. And Zakai, you could see him wobbling off the field a little bit. Looked like he got a little bit hurt on that play.
And you see that defensive front for St. Peter's. They've been battling, but gotta feel like fatigue must be a factor at this point in the game. Don Bosco dominating the time possession, and not a lot of subs out there in the defensive front for St. Peter's Prep. Once again, Kasai Thomas going to get the handoff up the middle. That time, nowhere to go as he was swallowed up by Nico Monroe.
Good play by Monroe. He set the edge initially, forced Kasai to cut up that C gap, it looked like, and then just dived for a nice tackle, wrapped him up cleanly. Good, technique and good play by Moore.
So, start to see Bosco work in a few of their reserves. Denson Brudney working in at tight end, who's the kind of the third option in that position room, but 6'4", 200 just speaks to the depth of this program. Handoff up the middle, but nowhere to go as Jordan Rodriguez, the BC commit, was all over it.
Yeah, that was a great job by Jordan Rodriguez, the BC commit. Great job coming in today, picking a good tackle, short game. Great job of the St. Peter's prep defense.
Not a lot of guys, the size of Jordan Rodriguez. He's 6 foot, $190. He's a guy who's going to transition to the college level and play in the secondary, but they need him as a tackler, and he's been playing in the box and really holding his own against a very physical front for Don Bosco.
Yeah, this kid's very skillful, very good at DB, but he also gets some snaps at running back. Great job. He's very versatile and he's very, very dominant.
Rona rolling out, that time able to connect with his intended receiver, Zakai Murphy. That's going to be right around the line to gain. Depends on the spot. But looks like it's going to be fourth and short, right here. Given the field position, you expect Coach Sabella to keep his offense out on the field.
Absolutely. You want to try to, preserve your players, chew out the clock, so I'd expect them to, on a 4th and short, maybe go back to Kasai Thomas or a quick screen to Zakai Murphy or one of their receivers just to keep the chains moving, just control the clock, and just, come out of here with a nice win.
They're just going to push forward, a little sneak up the middle.
Yeah, it looks like a little tush push. Great job. I said earlier, those big, meaty linemen. You have Rhett Morris, Joey Lucas. Great job getting that push, staying low, and getting the first down.
Yeah, when you got the center position, 2 guards, 305, 280, 280, that tush push could be a recipe for success. Taking a page out of the Philadelphia Eagles playbook right there.
Yeah, absolutely. They've scored on it. They've gotten some huge conversions on it, and it's been a great play so far.
And with that, we'll take a break. I'm Pat Godfrey with Oz Richardson and Andrew Bonito. You're watching the SFCN.
Welcome. Come on in.
Looking for mental health services for you or your loved ones? We have a signature way to pair you up with a therapist that meets your specific needs. At the Lucan Center, we are driven by science and led by compassion.
Thank you.
Experience the Lucan difference at any of our 7 locations in Northern Jersey. Log on to lucancenter.com or call us at 201-409-0393. At Lucan Center, get Lucan centered today.
Jets fans, clear the runway. Justin Fields and the New York Jets are taking on Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, November 9th at 1 p.m.
Under pressure, he'll be sacked!
Be there at MetLife Stadium to experience the action and energy of Jets game day.
Justin Fields all the way to the end zone.
Lock in your seats at nyjets.com/tickets.
We're back here live on the Super Football Conference Network. I'm Pat Godfrey with my broadcast partners, Oz Richardson and Andrew Bonita, watching what has been a joyful senior night for the Ironmen faithful. All Don Bosco through 3 quarters and driving once again, hoping to extend their lead past the 25 points of cushion they already have. Right there, there's going to be a toss at Brennan. Able to get a little bit of room on first down.
It just seems like Bosco's going to try to smartly chew out the clock. They don't need to, be too aggressive. Obviously, they might want to add one more score, but, you want to try to come out this game unscathed, prepare for the playoffs, almost, basically prepare yourself, try to establish a little bit of a running game for next week or 2 weeks.
Right now we see Rona drop back to pass. Unable to reel it in is Josiah Smith, the sophomore going over the middle. And right now, Dan Sabella taking the opportunity to get a little bit of his depth, some game reps. You know, it can be important going into the playoffs. Never know who's going to go down with an injury, who you're going to need to step up. So getting these guys big reps against a big-time opponent like St. Peter's Prep can be valuable.
Yeah, most definitely. It's great getting those guys up. Those guys, like they say, it's next man up always, and these guys could be the future for next year and the year after. So it's very good to get them reps in these situations when you're up a lot. Colin Brennan, Kasai Thomas have been doing a great job. Haven't seen much of Dante DeLuca tonight, but great job by these two.
Rona's going to hit up right there. Thomas Mitchell, another sophomore, though there is a flag down on the play. We'll wait for our white hats to let us know if this one's coming back.
That is a great play by Thomas Mitchell. Thomas Mitchell's a very agile, very shifty receiver. He does a very good job changing direction, changing speed, and getting a lot of yards after catch.
That's an opportunity right here with the holding call to say a quick thank you to our sponsor, Kearney Bank, bringing you the fourth quarter. Whatever your goals, Kearney Bank helps you or your business achieve them with personalized solutions and friendly support. Visit kearneybank.com to get started making your dreams a reality. Member FDIC. And it's so impressive how you can throw in the backup quarterback. A lot of programs, once the backup's in there, things start falling apart. But Dylan Rona is so confident out there as a junior, getting everybody lined up. And he's going to hand the ball off once again to Brennan, but nowhere to go. Who else could it be for this Marauders defense than Jordan Rodriguez in the backfield?
Yeah, as you're saying, I remember you said that Rona was, he was originally the starter, and he's still a very talented and able quarterback. I remember last year when the quarterback for Bosco, Devin Sisler, who was a senior, who was injured, he came in and made some nice plays and, really provided a good backup for Bosco. So he's been really solid so far in his career.
Once again, Rona back to pass. Picks up a block from his running back, Brennan. And, a dangerous one right there. Fortunately, that's not picked off by Julian Cruz, the senior linebacker, who had eyes on it, read that one all the way, but unable to reel it in as a flag is down on the play.
It looks like the flag is on the defense since everybody was pointing towards the side. It looks like it was a holding or a pass interference. Most likely a holding before the pass is thrown.
It sounds like it's 2 flags down on the play. We'll wait for the call from our white hat. Offsetting penalties. One on St. Peter's, the other on Don Bosco. Live to play another down right here. So right here on 4th down, Dylan Rona going to set up. Dan Sabella leaving his offense out on the field. Rona drops back, sees an opening. Looked like he might have read it for a second, but he was able to hit his receiver over the middle. Once again, Isaiah Alvarez just putting on an absolute exhibition out here tonight in Ramsey, New Jersey. That's going to be a name to watch for a long time in the future, the way that guy can play.
Yeah, definitely. Also, with Jeremiah being a senior graduating, he's going to be the consistent #1 option on this team. And it's going to be very excited seeing him next year as a senior, mentoring all the sophomores, the juniors, and really taking his role.
That said, looks like Alvarez was a little bit short of the line to gain, so that's going to be a turnover on downs. Another opportunity for Tyler Bell on this Marauder offense to get things going, though they are running out of time. Only 10 minutes left in the ball game. Really nice cut there from Teray. He's going to keep cutting, make another man miss. And boy, is he a slippery dude out there once you get him in some open space. Not the biggest guy in the world at 5'9", $180, but the junior who transferred in this year to St. Peter's Prep can really make you pay if he gets a hole.
Absolutely. He's very shifty, very quick. You saw a great juke move against Brandon Damasio and a great cut along the sideline. Very hard to tackle. He's going to be a very talented player in college because of his shiftiness.
Once again, Teray, the split back. Looked like it was going to be a screen on the broken play. Bell just able to make something out of nothing. Able to get some open space. Tyler Bell, he's got wheels. He wants 6 and able to be pushed out of bounds just short of the end zone. right there, Joe Queen Phillips pushing him out, but a huge gain right there on the broken play for Tyler Bell, showing you a little bit of those legs.
Yeah, great job by Tyler Bell using his legs as multi-D. Great hustle by Joaquin Phillips. Looked like a touchdown, but the hustle, great hustle, showing the character. Even with 9 minutes, up 25 points, still hustling no matter what.
Exactly, and that's the hallmark of a great team, right? It's not just about how talented you are, it's about how hard you're willing to work. That's a culture that coach over his 7 years at Don Bosco. And you know, he remembers St. Peter's Prep when they're a much better program. We're going to take a quick break right here on the Super Football Conference Network.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
I've lived in the Bronx for about 10 years.
Oh, yeah, I like you.
You said from Manhattan, right?
Yeah, I've been living in Manhattan like since college for 6 years. And we are back on the Super Football Conference Network. I'm Pat Godfrey with Oz Richardson and Andrew Bonita. You might have heard us talking about our New York exploits, but when you're watching high school football, there's no better place than the Big North, or the former Big North, the Super Football Conference in New Jersey. And two heavyweights out here slugging it out. It's been all Bosco, but Peter's pushing late for another score. Right here, it's Abdul Toure up the middle, trying to get into the end zone for the first time today. Is Toure, a guy who has been such an electric weapon all year long out of the backfield for the Marauders.
Absolutely great fill by Mekhi Allen. He read the play, saw the hole, filled in, and made a nice hit. You could hear the pop when Mekhi Allen collided with Abdul Toure. He's a very dynamic, tough linebacker. That was a great play by Mekhi Allen.
Yeah, he's a 4-star recruit. Probably had Toure seeing stars after that hit. So once again, actually Barksdale in the game. A little bit of a lob to the back of the end zone. He was hoping to hit up his intended receiver, Hunter Watson, but a great play right there.
That is a great coverage by Phoenix Evans. Phoenix Evans a little bit disappointed in himself, wanted the interception, but that is a great job keeping contained on one-on-one coverage and getting the pass deflection, which is huge.
Phoenix Evans, not a guy we've talked a lot about tonight, which is typically a good sign when you're a corner. You don't want your name called out too much because it means you're putting somebody on an island, but he's a 4-star recruit in his own right, the number 2 recruit in New Jersey, and number 24 nationally. The play fake, Bell holds on to it, and that time around just nowhere to go. A mix right there of Acapinti as well as Aiden O'Neal.
Minutemen against Minutemen. Robert Eakins just following his future QB, just meet him right there on the read option. Just great play by Robert Eakins, and, you know, showing Tyler Bell what he's going to see probably next year in practice.
So that's going to set up a 4th down situation for St. Peter's Prep. With such a long way to claw back, they're obviously leaving their offense out on the field. They want 6 on this possession. But it's going to come down to this right here, 4th and goal for Tyler Bell and company. Bell drops back, assesses a few of his receivers, and unable to get rid of that one. Looked like that was number 44, Hinspeter, on the pressure right there, and just nowhere to go for Tyler Bell.
That is a great job by Jack Hinspeter. The linebacker blitz working. Tyler Bell hit as he threw. Just didn't have enough power to get it through. Great job at Don Bosco for defense. Once again, another takeaway, and gets the ball back with 7 minutes and 44 seconds left.
And going into today, what was the number? Was it 6 and change that Bosco has given up per game? You know, I think we thought going up against the likes of St. Peter's Prep, an offense that's been as prolific as anybody this year, that it might be a different story, but Bosco's D showing that it doesn't matter who you are, they know how to clamp down when it matters most.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a team that averages 37 points per game and 4 on the road. But this defense just doesn't play. This is why they only allow 9 points per game. And now a game only 6 points allowed.
So Rona hands that one off to Kasai Thomas. Nothing going there. up the middle on first down. Going to set up a second and about 8. As Bosco is happy to take their time in between snaps. Just over 7 minutes left in this ball game and a very comfortable lead for the Ironmen.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to do if you're Bosco. Waste the time, keep running the ball, which has been working all game. Just keep doing it.
Once again, Kasai Thomas, the split back. See that offensive line's been so good. Thomas able to get a window out there on the edge and ultimately taken down out of bounds by who else but Jordan Rodriguez.
Nice little play by Kasai. Cut off along the edge. A little stiff arm there along the sideline. Then he was met with Jordan Rodriguez, the BC commit. Great play by those two men. And now it sets up a 3rd and medium or 3rd and short for the Ironmen.
So 3rd down right here for Don Bosco. You see that tight end right there in the game. Geraci. Ironmen going to hand the ball off right here to Brennan. And once again, nothing going. So the St. Peter's D that had a really tough time throughout the first 2.5 quarters or so has really hung in there, fought, and found some success as of late.
Yeah, now it may be garbage time, but still you want to see, as Rich Hansen, the heart and fight of this team, especially going into next week. You want to bounce back off the slogs, with a big win, whatever seed you're going to get in the playoffs. So it's good to see that they're still fighting, trying to stop, this 3-headed monster in the running backs, and basically try to will some momentum for themselves.
No doubt. Punt unit out there. Michael Perillo, the long snapper, about to send it back to John Dever.
There's a fly on the play.
Yeah, we saw Dever earlier with the big-time fake punt. He's an athlete in his own right. Not a guy who's going to be playing college football, but a Yale lacrosse commit out of Don Bosco. This program just so strong across the board. Every sport, it seems like, that the Ironmen play in, they have success. And he's a guy who makes a living in the spring, but is a huge value add in the fall.
It looks like the flag was on the defense, so it will be a Don Bosco prep first down.
And that really just kills if you're the St. Peter's prep defense. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching the Super Football Conference Network.
Prosperity is achieved one step at a time, with each success building on the last, transforming your money into something extraordinary. Whatever your goals, the team at Kearney Bank can help them take shape with products and services that help you master your money. Your first car, college tuition, a new home, even retirement. Let's make your dreams a reality together at Kearney Bank. See how today at kearneybank.com.
We're back on the SFCN. Missed a quick first down run. That was Brennan up the middle following the penalty that earned Don Bosco a fresh set of downs. So they're unsurprisingly allowing the clock to bleed out. Should be run heavy the rest of the way for the Ironmen.
Yeah, definitely. This is exactly what you're supposed to do. I mean, you got to stop. 4 minutes left. Just keep running the ball, waste of time, and come out of here with the element to win.
This time around, it's Brennan once again. The pulling lineman, Lucas, unable to get there, so brought down short of the sticks, and this is going to set up a 3rd and medium.
This has been a great game for Joey Lucas. He's been great, following the schemes as a lineman. He was the lead blocker for one of Kasai Thomas's touchdowns. He's been doing great against this talented St. Peter's D-line, so he's been doing so great so far, and he's, hopefully he's going to carry that momentum and confidence into the playoffs.
An impressive monster of this running back room, and that's going to bring up another punt situation for Don Bosco.
Yeah, he's a younger running back for the Ironmen. He actually was from my town, so I know him decently well, and he might be small, but he's pretty shifty and fast, so hopefully he'll be a great running back for the Ironmen in the future.
Yeah, getting some quality carries. He's just a sophomore. Back to punt is Dever. Hunter Watson not going to touch that one. Poison call for St. Peter's Prep, and a very favorable bounce for Del Barton as this one Gets almost to the 20-yard line. That's an impressive punt from the senior who has had a great day out here today. Not often you're talking about special teamers as real game changers, but he's really made a big impact, whether it be the field goal, the fake punt, or just using his leg to flip the field.
Yeah, this is what makes Johnny Dever so special. He already has a game-winning kick against St. Joe's, but this is what makes him so special. Usually special teams aren't talked about, like Patrick said, but this kid is so special. He makes special teams have to be talked about.
He puts a special in special teams.
Yes, he does.
Absolutely. Yeah, this special teams overall for Bosco is very dynamic, from Johnny Dever with his powerful leg to returners like Mekhi Allen and Isaiah Alvarez. It's very amazing to watch.
So once again, Bell back out there and just absolutely nowhere to go for Teray. He got met by the UMass commit, Robert Eakins, who's just putting on a show here at senior day. You know, for all these guys, every game obviously means a lot, but when you're a senior and you know that it's your last regular season game here at home, it just means a little something extra, and it's really showing from these Ironmen.
Absolutely. If Tyler Bell, a fellow Minuteman, wasn't aware of Eakins' presence before now he is now, he's made two amazing plays, one against Bell and one against his senior running back, where's it, Dale?
Bell back to throw. Thought about running it for a second. This time he's able to find his receiver over the middle. That was Amari Jones.
That is great pocket presses by Tyler Bay, getting the reception to Amari Jones for positive yardage.
And got to give some credit to Bell, right? He's been definitely under duress consistently throughout this entire game, but he hasn't let it really faze him. He's still looking to buy time every time he's back there, keep his eyes downfield, and that's one reason why he's a guy who has a very bright future as he moves on to the FBS level next year. Once again, Barksdale offset the quarterback. Quick hitter right there. He's once again trying to dial up Amari Jones, but that time around, nothing going. Great coverage by Zion Matthews.
Yeah, especially as a senior, it's great to see the poise, the amount of poise that Tyler Bell has. He definitely needs it for the FBS level, as he's going to try to lead the Minutemen to more accomplished goals next year. It's just great, especially against a tough team like this, how he's still calm, cool, collected, trying to make plays and trying to, help his St. Peter's team as much as he could.
So a punt as that third down was incomplete, and that's going to be Alvarez right there on the fair catch. Should be good field position for Bosco as though to close this one out. That brings me to a quick shout out to the sponsor of our All Academic Team. The SFC's All Academic Team and Scholar Athlete of the Year program is sponsored by Teachers Insurance Plan. School faculty and coaches can work with their athletic director to nominate a player to represent their school on the team and compete for the Student Athlete of the Year award. And out here at Don Bosco, a school with a great academic tradition and great athletic tradition, you got to figure a few of these guys could be tossing their name in the hat. Hey, one guy that comes to mind is John Dever, the Yale commit. I can imagine he's probably taking care of business when hitting the books as well, too, right?
Absolutely. Recruit J.T. Geraci has gotten interest from Ivy Leagues as well. Dartmouth, Penn, Columbia. It's, Ivy presence is definitely in this team.
It's right there. Once again, another handoff to Gavin Splendorio. 5'8", $160, but runs with a lot more power than his size would indicate. And St. Peter's defensive line still out there fighting. Got all the starters. You're starting to see some of the competitive depth get subbed in out there for Don Bosco. You got Jail Leo, as well as Tyler Pulio subbed in on the offensive line.
Yeah, you also have Mikey Rosala there at the center position, I believe.
Right here, you also would like to call out, we have the third-string quarterback in the game, Tyler O'Daniel. It's good to see him. He's a senior, getting the chance to get some reps on his senior day. And one thing to keep in mind is, sometimes you hear a third-string quarterback, you think, okay, that guy, how good could he be? But when you're talking about Don Bosco, these guys who are sitting second and third string would likely go and start and maybe be stars at most public schools around the country. So, they made the decision to come here because they want to be a part of something greater than themselves. And it's got to feel good for these guys who get subbed in a big game like this, chance to go out there and compete a little bit as the clock ticks down past 1 minute.
Absolutely. For them to stick the course and be a part of this great team, it just shows how loyal and faithful, and how supportive they are of this team. It's really great to see, especially when the seniors come out and represent their school like this.
And wonder if Don Bosco is going to look to get another snap off as the clock ticks down past 25 seconds left to go. They might be able to just call this one a day. So a dominant performance here by your Don Bosco Ironmen, 31-6 over St. Peter's on the Super Football Conference Network.
Welcome. Come on in.
Looking for mental health services for you or your loved ones? We have a signature way to pair you up with a therapist that meets your specific needs. At the Lucan Center, we are driven by science and led by compassion.
Thank you.
Experience the Lucan difference at any of our 7 locations in Northern Jersey. Log on to lucancenter.com or call us at 201-409-0393. At Lucan Center, get Lucan centered today.
Jets fans, clear the runway. Justin Fields and the New York Jets are taking on Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns.
And we are back here on the Super Football Conference Network. I'm Pat Godfrey with my co-announcers, Oz Richardson and Andrew Bonita. And this is a lot of fun out here today if you're a Don Bosco fan. Now, if you made the trip from Jersey City, you might feel a little bit differently, but as complete a performance as we've seen all year from the Ironmen.
Absolutely. It looked similar to what happened last year. I mean, Don Bosco did, in a similar fashion, dominate this game. But it's still good to see how Peters fought. They need this, for this playoff. They have had to start like this since 2019, like you said, and they don't want to just throw it away because of one bad game. So for them to keep their fight in heart, it's really great to see, because it just shows how integral and great these teams really are in the Super Football Conference.
And St. Peter's Prep could be anxiously awaiting their playoff seeding. Should fall somewhere between number 4 and number 6 in the state playoffs, depending on what happens in other Super Football Conference action. But Oz, how big is it for Don Bosco locking up home field advantage in this number 1 seed throughout the state playoffs?
Yeah, this is definitely huge. I mean, going into this game, this was the game of the week, the number 3 team versus number 1 team. So any doubts that you had about Don Bosco, this should all be silenced. This team showed up tonight against the number 3 team that averaged 37 points per game and undefeated on the road, and they held this offense to 6 points. This is a great job of the Don Bosco Prep defense. And if you're Dan Sabella and this team going into the bye week, I'll be very excited. Home field advantage. You play a lot of competitive teams, so with that home field edge, you have a lot of great advantages coming towards you.
And I think we knew going into this game that the Bosco offense would be able to take care of business. The defense been very strong all year long, but a huge test coming up against the St. Peter's Prep team that was averaging close to 38 points a game. What are your thoughts on the way this defense came out and performed against a talent-laden attack for the Marauders?
Absolutely. On paper, it looked like the defense was in for a scary night on Halloween, but instead they brought the scare, basically terrorizing the St. Peter's offense. And it's, a great test for them, because now they've proved that against any offense, against Zamet, against the St. Joe's defense, against Trey Taliaferri and Bergen, against Tyler Bell and St. Peter's Prep, they can limit those offenses to less than 10 points, less than 9 points, I should say, per game, and really dominate the game on that aspect.
It was really impressive across the board. On the offensive side of the ball for Bosco, I think one thing you got to feel really good about if you're part of this coaching staff is the balance that they're able to bring to the table. What were your thoughts on the balance between really good day for Carson Shane, but also Kasai Thomas? Really can't say enough, right?
Yeah, Kasai Thomas, I mean, he's really the star of this run game. He's a sophomore, has a lot of years left, but it's a great job. You also have Colin Brennan. We didn't see much of Dante DeLuca tonight, but that just shows you how dangerous the offense is. Even when they made running back out, they still use many different pieces and many different components in this offense, which makes them very dangerous.
Yeah, Colin Brennan had to be thrilled getting that touchdown here in front of his home crowd on senior night. that was certainly a really nice thing to see for the seniors. Had a great career here in Ramsey, New Jersey. Across the board, can't say enough about what we saw from Don Bosco. There's a reason why they're a top 25 team nationally. They're the number 1 team in New Jersey. I think they really planted their flag and let everybody know that basically the state championship is coming through Ramsey. Now guys, it's been an absolute pleasure calling the game with you tonight. For our production staff, the incredible crew here at Don Bosco High School, Sam Park, for my broadcast partners, Oz, as well as Andrew, I'm Pat Godfrey, and this has been a production of the Super Pro Conference Network.